Anytime YouTube says hello to us, that would be great. There we are. Alrighty, here we go. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another wonderful, exciting experience of Smudcast number 1122, Why We Should Teach Children Feminism. Boy, trying to get all these TEDx talks done is going to take a lot of time for us to go through. They're all very strange. Everyone recommended the weird progressive angle to the TEDx talks. I'm not sure if they're worth going through. They're all very, very similar, but they all involve something to do with some progressive philosophy and why we should teach kids or adolescents or children or have programs in schools about this or that philosophy. So it's always funny to listen to random people, especially younger people, say how important it is to have this or that mindset or this or that philosophy that you should teach kids now because I think it's so important. Take anyone in the world of any profession. I think we should teach our children math. It's like, well, yes, that's a very basic thing to learn, but specific philosophies, probably not. You probably wouldn't want to teach Judaism to everyone or any kind of religion. That would probably be a bad idea. It's not a very smart move when you talk about academics. Ooh. So this is a 14-minute video. I can't remember who recommended it. We have a battery of TED Talks. This is just one of them. So maybe we'll get some more people on. Shiny and myself are just relaxing, having a good evening. And he might be busy doing other things, but here I am. Let's get going.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Dunn. How you doing?
Don. I thought I'd help you out with this one. What are we doing? Affirmative action or what is it?
It's more feminism. So, yes, the joys of ladies and the philosophy of the 60s and 70s brought to the forefront of the modern time, which is probably no longer what it should be. But who cares about that? We'll do it anyway.
Let's start with a simple experiment. What do you see?
Okay, guys, what do you see there?
I reckon it's going. You're supposed to think it's a guy, but then it's going to be a really masculine-looking girl.
Okay, Dunn, what do you see?
It looks like a fairly androgynous outline.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's the point. It's going to be more of androgynous girl.
Yeah, it's kind of very similar to form and figure drawing. You look at the figure of a model and you just go as quickly as possible. It's like a warm-up. So it's just to get your hands going, to get your eyes going. I don't know if you guys have ever done figure painting or figure art, figure drawing. It's kind of an exercise. Everyone does it who's in art school. And it's all just visual acuity. Get your mind in the right mindset. So for me, I see, I don't know, like David Bowie. I don't know. It's some but I see David Bowie everywhere. It's kind of like, Elvis back in the day. Oh, yeah, I saw Elvis the other time. Oh, no, it's just David Bowie.
Kind of looks like in what's that dance movie?
A dance movie?
Footloose, I guess.
Is that who was in Footloose? I don't even know.
Kevin Bacon.
Kevin Bacon. Whoa. Considering we were about to watch Tremors a few weeks ago. Yeah, Kevin Bacon. Wow. Thought you were going to say Patrick Swayze, but okay, Kevin Bacon.
Most of you might say it's the picture of a man. But is it?
Fucking called it.
What about now?
It's a girl, we think, or is it?
A woman? I say it's just a human.
Oh my God.
Yes, that would be what everyone would be thinking, but which gender of human would be the question which you were asking, pretty much.
What do you see? I see an outline of potentially a human corpse. Like, what do you want from me?
Yeah, it's strange.
It's not like how an alien would look at it, less than gender. Like, you know how we look at other species, we look at a rabbit, we think that's a rabbit, we don't think it's male or female, we think it's Yeah, the alien's just gonna look at this like, this is human. Hello, human.
It's like when I think of my mom, I think of a living organism that I was birthed from. I was like, no, it's your mom. She happens to be female, I think. Like, no, we don't think like this.
There's an urgent message about his mother.
Yeah.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Here's Taker 610. First, my tap water needs human rights, and now what? Yeah, before it was like we gave a lake human rights, whatever it was. I can't remember. They have legal authority as a human being. Like, what? Why? Okay. But all right, you're playing mind games with this visual understanding of the genders. And not to say there's nothing wrong with this. This is a very attractive model, male or female. We just like to know why and how we should get an erection when looking at a lady. So,
is anyone else thinking of the Pokemon memes? Like, who's that Pokemon? It's Pikachu. It's Clefairy.
It's red. It's a human. Like, thanks.
I am normal human person.
Greetings, fellow humans. I have genitalia just like you.
Let's see what this person has to say.
Why always so insistent on attaching the idea of gender to everything?
Because we're guys. Again, we have penises.
No, but everything. Is that including my table?
Well, no.
My chair?
No.
My bottle?
I mean, you could.
Would you apply gender to my poster? My cupboard? My helmet?
That's the weird thing. That's the weird thing about gender and language. Spanish, all of the proper nouns in Spanish have a gendered thing, like el or la. Like la computadora, el baño, stuff like that. Like, they just naturally have language and gender applied to it. And we think, I guess, like, now they've introduced the non-binary just as much as, like, fine, I don't care if whatever floats your boat, go do whatever, it doesn't affect me.
Yeah, there's
the problem is, it's just like we will always just kind of think that way.
Yeah,
it's
it's part of our language, really.
We've been programmed to think that way. We've been programmed to think that way for thousands of years.
Yeah, we have singular nouns which are feminine in French and English, and masculine nouns in Greek. It's pretty universal. So it's how we think of terms of words, but even on a more basic level, when we talk about attraction and we look at people, we say, am I attracted to this person? Like, it's not even an intellectual thing. It's almost a knee-jerk reaction. We look at someone, oh, I like them because they look like this. Or, oh, they have a big nose. Or, oh, they got big poofy hair. Like, we latch on to things very quickly and go, I like that. Or I don't like that. And it's very simple. And sometimes when you're not sure, you're like, I mean, do I like this thing? Do I not like this thing? Like, we don't like to be confused. We don't like to go, yeah, that's not for me. Or what is that? We want to know, oh, this is a hot person. Even if it's a male, even if I'm not physically or sexually attracted to someone of the same sex. It's like, I could tell this dude is hot. This man is athletic. He's gorgeous. He's got a nice head of hair. Looks good. He's sharp. He's got a shave. Smells good. Like, I can go, oh yeah, this man is attractive.
To go back to
pleasing.
Yeah, exactly.
But what she just said about why do we gender everything? But like, even in gendered language of like, this table is female. You don't actually think of it as a female. You still think of it as a table. Even things which have gender, like pets, animals, we usually just see them as a dog or a rabbit. We don't think, oh, that's a male rabbit or a female rabbit or a male dog or a female dog, because usually at first glance you can't really tell. Like, we don't. Even though, say, in Spanish or French or German, they made gender in terms of like what they used to say before it, with, I don't know, call it a male, it still doesn't mean we think of it as a male. Like, we don't gender objects really that much.
It really comes down to language at that point, and I don't think anyone ever says, oh, this is a a French kitchen like La Cucina. But if you use the masculine version, it's like cooking them or cooking this. If you Le Cucina, which you very rarely would use that phrase in Italian. So it's part of our words. It's part of our language. It's part of how we associate. And on a basic level, I say it's all very biological. We're very visually focused. We look at things. We go, oh, this is attractive to me, whether it's art or a person or whatever. We'd like to put things in categories very quickly that we are associated with. We've seen thousands, if not millions of people in our lives. Our brain starts going boom, 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 boom. I know what I like. And it's very simple. So yeah, this is standard stuff. We don't have to worry about what we do like. What we do like is like, okay, that's clear. It's hard to describe why, but we know it's there somewhere in our minds. What we don't like is gigantic, and we can describe all sorts of reasons why we dislike something, we're not sure about something, or maybe I do like that thing or that person, the way they look, even though I previously didn't. And that's fine. There's all these subjective reasons why you like people and how they look and what they do, what they smell like, and this and that. And sometimes there's objective reasons for that as well. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to listen to her about why feminism is important for children.
It's not our fault for thinking in such binary terms, because that's how we've been programmed to think.
I don't think we were thinking binarily. I think we were just like, what the hell is that image? I have no idea. It's David Bowie. It's my answer to everything.
Look at men and women differently. Even
Yes.
if we don't want to.
That's
I don't
because
see-
it's different a lot of the time.
Well, because men and women are different. I mean, even if you don't want to go psychology, biologically very different.
She's very different compared to her. Like, she's very feminine. She has longer hair. She's a soft voice, obviously Indian descent. Those are feminine traits. If I closed my eyes, I would still think it's a girl talking to me or talking on the video. So that's one of many categories my brain naturally goes into as soon as I hear stuff or a stimuli that I've heard before. It's like, oh yeah, Indian girl. All right, gotcha.
There is just no escaping this, because this conditioning began before you could even help it. It began before you were even born.
Okay, so it's completely natural, nothing to worry about, guys. I guess that's it.
You're conditioned. It's a social construct. But the thing is about society, pretty much everything is a social construct, but it doesn't mean it's meaningless. It doesn't mean it's arbitrary, because it's everything happens for everything that did happen happened for a purpose, especially in the evolution of man, or I don't know, people. I should say. You don't want to use the wrong terms with these people.
This is true. You got to be careful what you say.
I'm gonna say people kind.
You're a very attractive human.
When your parents were wondering if your toddler suit should be pink or blue. And then there was just no going back.
Wait. We're just skipping over the entire concept of using certain colors for children or babies or infants? Oh dear. Okay, well, maybe...
And okay, would it be wrong to give them a blue or red one, or like pink? Is it wrong? So what? What happens if we... Oh, it means they're like pink later in life because you give them a pink suit and they like the more feminine things. So what if they like the more feminine things down the line? Even if it's because of what you've given them when they were young.
And it's nothing wrong with family members or friends buying gifts for newborns or the family of the newborn that are blue or pink, because it's like they don't have to, can I get your son a blanket that's pink? Like they could ask. I mean, if they really wanted to, but usually it's just a gift. Someone makes you a blanket, which happens, like that's a nice thing to get. A baby blanket. Why not? Fantastic. And they made it themselves. Oh, that's nice. That's really, really kind of someone to take the time and make a gift like that you might actually need for your newborn, whether it's a boy or a girl. So if they make it color coordinated for a boy without asking, who's going to be offended? No one. You don't even worry about that. Unless you're one of those weirdly weird parents like, oh, well, my boy is not necessarily a boy. It's like, what?
It is, ma'am.
Oh, dear. I want him to grow up and figure that out for himself. It's like, okay.
Let me tell you a story.
Oh, boy.
Tell me if this sounds familiar. Once upon a time, there lived a fair and beautiful princess. Everyone in the kingdom loved her, except for the evil witch.
Oh, what was that?
The screen kind of broke there for a moment.
So evil the screen was destroyed, but now she's back.
Who was jealous of her beauty. So she cursed the princess, and only a true love's kiss could save her.
This is a very strange... Is this a linear story? Because I don't think it's like princess turns into witch turns into kiss. It's like chapter 1, princess exists.
I think it's no. Princess was cursed by the witch, and only true love's kiss could fix it.
Okay.
But it is weirdly framed on the diagram. It's like, oh, look, she turns to a witch, then she turns to a kiss. He's like, no, wait, that's not what you're describing at all.
My use of the arrow is a bit different when I think in terms of lines.
So finally, a very strong and handsome prince defeated the witch, kissed the princess, saved her, and they lived happily ever after.
Wait, what? How did we get back to the beginning? I don't...
The hero's journey. I don't know.
What?
I guess, well...
How is it a hero's journey? She was asleep the entire time.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't...
Yeah,
It doesn't make any sense.
we'll just ignore this entire diagram.
Let's just do that until she gives us some answers as to what it means.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be evil. It's going to be sexist.
This is the plot of almost every fairy tale we grew up with.
No, read the Brothers Grimm. Well, there's little different setups there. Okay.
Yeah. There's also have you read Rose White and Snow White and Rose Red? Because that story is very much a female empowerment fairy tale where they don't need saving. They actually save the prince from being trapped in a bear skin.
So yeah, there's all kinds of adult style fairy tales that are pretty grim and gross, and yeah, they involve the death.
So just going over the top 10 fairy tales which are popular with kids. Cinderella. Is there any witches in Cinderella?
Fairy godmother.
Evil stepmother.
Yeah, you could call it.
Yeah, but they're not witches, are they? They don't curse.
They're a villain. They're a female villain. Same idea.
Beauty and the Beast.
No witches there.
Little Red Riding Hood.
There's a wolf. That's technically the villain. So she dresses up as
Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Snow White does have a witch.
There is a witch. But...
Yes.
Yeah. Jack and the Beanstalk.
No.
Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty has a witch. This fits the plot of Sleeping Beauty.
Okay.
Puss in Boots.
Definitely not Puss in Boots.
Hansel and Gretel.
Yes.
Hansel and Gretel does have a witch, but
it's about kids.
Girl. Yeah, the kid. And interestingly enough, the kid actually the kid's sister gets the kid brother out of the situation, rather than the other way around.
Rapunzel.
Has a witch.
Yes,
but she the witch blinds the prince, and the princess has her magic tears heal his eyes for some reason.
All right.
Yeah, so fairy tales, and not all of them fit the mold, even the favorite ones of the kids.
I'm assuming this circular pattern has to do with she goes from happy and beauty, everyone loves her, to tragedy, and then she comes back, and now she's happy and beautiful again with her family.
Maybe it's a heroine story.
Yeah, whatever. Sure. The heroine story where the male does all the work and she just wakes up and happy. It's amazing. Okay.
These stories reek of sexism.
Wait, whoa. Slow down there, lady. What happened? Where's the sexism?
That escalated quickly.
I see princess.
What about bears and porridge? What has that got to do with sexism?
I see giants. There's magical beings tricking people all over the place.
Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah. Okay, so in this diagram, there's a princess, there's a witch, there's a prince, and that's it. That's not sexism. You got more women than men. What do you want? If it was all guys.
It's the man saving the woman. That's the issue.
The man is saving the woman.
What about Hansel and Gretel? The sister tosses the witch into the cooking oven and
I thought it was a
cooks her.
cauldron.
It's a nut. I think it's an oven because otherwise the witch would be able to get out. Like
Does she have gas?
No, it's
Has
fire
gas
oven.
It's a
oven?
walk-in oven,
No, it's a-
Shiny.
Is it electric? Is it a fan? Like, does she have a fan electric oven?
No, it's a fire. It's a.
Or is it fueled by sexism?
Well, feminism has burned a lot of people, so I imagine it might be. That's actually not a bad idea.
So I don't know where she sees sexism. Maybe it's the kissing. I don't get it, but okay, let's see.
But we never realized that when we were enjoying them. I mean, I loved Cinderella. Her beautiful dress, her fairy godmother's magic, the handsome prince. I was completely sold on that happily ever after.
Yeah, that's what it's for. It's a very simple story. It's very easy to read. It's to interpret for kids. It's very basic.
Not a lot of context.
You start off really...
It's supposed to be easy enough for kids to understand. You should be able to understand it.
That's the point. There's not much depth to it. It's like you start off really low. We're seeing her horrible environment, and then when she's brought up by her fairy godmother, there's high level where she could attend a ball and just be with whoever she wants, and she meets this handsome dude, and the handsome dude's attracted to her beauty, but also her heart, and then all her beauty goes away because the magic wears off, and he's stuck trying to find this beautiful woman and her beautiful heart. Where to go? He cannot find her anywhere in the kingdom. Simple stuff.
I never questioned why Cinderella could only be happy after she met the prince.
Because that's the point.
Wasn't she happy before? And isn't finding love a happy thing?
She was pretty much...
She's technically in a very, very bad situation.
Yeah.
She's forced to be...
Dunn, you're cutting out.
Well,
Dunn?
being...
Dunn, you're cutting out.
Oh, why is this?
Let me just change these server. How's
I
that?
don't know.
Hong Kong, baby. Let's do it. Hong Kong it is. All right, we're in Hong Kong. That's fantastic.
Okay, does this sound better?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay. Well, basically, like, she's being in a in a terrible indentured servitude situation where she's just a servant, unable to go anywhere. Is kind of a sucky situation.
But in the story, she's let out. She's not bringing up she did bring up Cinderella, but she's not using Cinderella as the example first. But obviously, you can use it because it is one of the example of the fairy tales. But in the example she's using, it's I would assume the princess is happy at the beginning. I would assume, but even after the whole story is done, it's supposed to be a happy ever after. It's not saying you have to be happy. You have to find a strong man in order to be happy in the end. But relationships are something which do often complete people. And Dunn, you kicking your desk or something?
No, that would be...
And he's cut out.
That would be
a bunch of crazies. That would be a bunch of my sisters upstairs. Sorry.
All right. No worries. Rin Wesley.
Can't just knock him out, can you? Just...
But
If you take fairy tale
want to.
characters as Jungian psychological aspects of a human being, male or female, the sexism argument falls apart. You can argue in certain archetypes that Youngin has made, there are male and female archetypes, but because they're archetypes, you can apply them to any instance of a character in a story. So it does fall apart in that regard. But when we talk about...
I have a question. Now we're in Singapore. Does that mean the Chinese government's going to be watching us?
Singapore, is it? Wait, is Singapore...
Hong Kong, sorry. Hong Kong.
Hong Kong is a city-state, so they're independent. But, yeah, the argument is... whether or
the
not...
whole thing with China... Never mind, I was joking, but hey, we'll continue.
Yeah, so anyway, the Jungian archetype, even though there's like the seductress, that could always apply to the male as well as the female, it's just more typically associated with the female. So there's lots of archetypes which are gender-based. But yeah, any story can take those roles. Like the old wise man could be the old wise woman. And there's plenty of old wise women in stories as well, whether they're witches or otherwise. So no big deal.
Or why she needed a fairy godmother to solve all her problems.
Well, okay. Yes. Why does she need a fairy godmother? Why is there a magical element in a story to uplift a character very quickly without needing all this other backstory of her empowering herself and going through the process of being an excellent servant or whatever she's window cleaner, whatever she's doing, and then working at other jobs and then building herself up and getting her own business and being excellent at her job and employing other... Like, why didn't they do that? Because it's too big a story. And when you have a magical person snap their fingers and say, now you're a princess or now you're a gorgeous lady in a beautiful dress, it's faster. You focus on what matters. What's the point of your story? Not all this detail that just is not relevant. Unless you want to tell an empowering story about a Cinderella-like character who don't need no man and she can just run off and join the aristocracy on her own. That's great. Fantastic. Tell that story. But kids don't care about that right now. They want magic. They want cool. Ooh, a pumpkin turns into a horse-drawn carriage. That's neat. I like magic.
Yeah,
Nothing wrong with that.
Or why she never stood up to her evil stepmother. Wait, why did the stepmother
I thought it was
have to be
stepsisters.
evil in the first place?
Why were the stepmothers...
Because you need an antagonist!
both. It's kind of both. Yeah, you do need an antagonist.
It's like, oh, why is Darth Vader evil? Does he need to be evil? Darth Vader, he could be a nice guy. You just need to get to know him.
Well, you see, Darth Vader is a male.
These are simple stories about caricatures of humanity. They aren't nuanced.
Well, clearly, Star
at
Wars
all.
is a story of the masculine power struggle between the individual male and the community male, and as such, there is a power struggle between these two dimensions, and it's clearly sexist because it's all males fighting over each other about who has the power. So that's a problem with Star Wars. Now, if Darth Vader was a female, then it'd be much better because you'd have like this sexy robot voice telling you, "Luke, I am your mother. Join the Nazis."
You know what? I'd actually watch that. That actually sounds interesting.
Nice Austrian-voiced old woman who's like deformed and stuff. No, she's sexy. She's sexy. She's like 20. She looks like 43 years old, and she's got the robot gear, and she's got like a dual-bladed lightsaber that retracts and stuff. Yeah, that'd be awesome. And maybe they'll borrow from the Bhagavad Gita, but instead of the father losing it, the mom defeats the armies, and she's just amazing. All the women are amazing.
Yeah, maybe like Cate Blanchett or something as a Darth Vader type. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Luke, join me. I will bake you the cookies you never had, or something. I don't know, stupid like that.
What can you do?
My ideas of what is normal, what is right, what would make me...
Wait. What is right? What do you mean, what is right? There's nothing right or wrong about having a fairy godmother or evil stepmother. Like, what?
No, okay. I think what she's going to say, her sense of right and wrong was developed from these stories.
How is that hard to
Weird.
grasp that you have an abusive stepmother telling you what to do and spanking you or hitting you with a stick?
I wouldn't say it's too far of a stretch to say that, young kids look at these stories, especially in their formative years, and it captures their imagination. And there is morality in these stories. It's about good and evil, and it's nothing really that specific though. And it's not like a book on how to live your life. It's not 12 rules.
Yeah, Aesop's Fables is kind of the closest you come to something like this.
And we could easily flip the genders with Cinderella and change how the aristocracy works and what the ball is and what does it mean to be a man and attend a ball and get dressed up and how the whole courtship thing works. And there's a very sensitive prince or princess who's like looks at the heart of men as opposed to what their accomplishments or whatever. Sure, tell a story that way. Same bloody story. Doesn't make a difference.
Technically, that does exist. It's called the 12 Dancing Princesses.
Oh, well, there we go. I mean, it's not hard to do. Like, you just flip the genders, you do the same story, it works the same way. The fact that it's a Disney aspect or it's told in a very fantastical element you don't know exactly the time period, you don't know exactly the technology level, like you don't know where in Europe they are. Obviously, I think it's Europe because it's medieval. There's castles and princesses, so the during the age of
Message coming in.
feudalism.
Patching it through.
But that's all you really need to know.
Did you assume their locations?
I assumed their entire geography, yes.
You assume their geography.
Well,
their technology level, yes.
The only way you can... Well, the author writing it has a big assumption to make. It's usually...
Like, yeah, she could be arguing about ageism or, why aren't they, 10 years younger? I don't know. It works as young adults. Fine. Mike Testa. This lady must have been a bint as a kid to her dad. I don't know. As a kid, she said she's pretty normal until she learned about feminism.
And then she took a retard to the face.
And everything went wrong after that.
Be happy. What is beautiful was slowly being defined.
I'm gonna make a guess that feminism has nothing to do with aesthetics, like absolutely zero. So I don't know where she's getting these ideas for beauty from feminism, but maybe she took an art class or modern art, a postmodern art class. There we go. That makes more sense. Why are
postmodern art?
Yeah, no, they exist. I'm sure. That's where her opinions changed. Her idea of aesthetics changed forever. The world was one way, and now everything is shit. Oh, okay.
By a system that glorified inequality.
What? No.
A system that glorifies inequality. What?
Cinderella?
What system?
Is it? I think maybe it's capitalism. Maybe it's like the idea of like the patriarchal system that we live in. I guess.
I guess the closest thing I think of is patriarchy, but this isn't Is it? I guess I don't know because I couldn't put this to capitalism.
I don't think capitalism existed during the Middle Ages. I mean, versions of it did, like property rights, but no, there weren't no corporations back then. You could own stock in. But I don't.
I'll buy some stock in Catapult to us.
The blacksmith was pretty much doing everything with metal, so there was no real industry. There were slaves for sure, but no, there was no capitalism.
There were banks.
These stories taught me that being fair means being beautiful.
Fair is another word for beautiful.
No, because it's saying fair and beautiful. It's not saying the two. What? It's not saying the two are connected, because if it's saying they're connected, you'd only need to state one, whereas it states both. And if I said this person has a hat and he's wearing trousers, it doesn't mean that you need to have a hat to wear trousers.
Maybe it's the Indian thing, because we're talking about fair skinned. That's light skinned, and I don't know, maybe to them it's not beautiful. Maybe.
I don't know. Because
Okay.
you're saying you need to be beautiful to be fair, not
Well,
fair to be
we're talking
beautiful.
about the adjective fair. There's also the noun, which when you say fair is a beautiful woman. You're saying it doesn't matter what capacity she's beautiful. You're just saying a fair lady is a beautiful woman.
I would say in context of the story, I would probably agree with that definition. But I think what the definition she's going with is probably more so being a fair person. I don't know, because she said it like it's two different things. No, I'm not even sure it's to be fair, because otherwise she'd be saying you need to be fair to be a beautiful. Whereas she's saying you need to be beautiful to be fair, in like it's valuing beauty over everything else.
It really depends on the mentality. Like we can't guess what the mentality was of people and serfs and nobility 400, 500, 600 years ago, and how people looked at other people. Like, I don't know. How did they look? I can make some guesses.
Let's just agree that this doesn't make sense and move on.
Yeah.
That witches are always evil.
For the purpose of the fairy tale, yes, witches are evil. Unless we want to bring up the Inquisition and speak about the horrors of religion. But we're not, because that's stupid.
There could always be an evil wizard or a dragon. Again, and sometimes, like, there's actually a story about a dragon whose mother helps out a group of soldiers coming home from war because she doesn't want them to get eaten.
Yeah.
Do your homework.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Yeah, we'd have to just look at the story as a piece of fiction, as a piece of art, and go, okay, what is this story about? Where did it come from? What was the point of the story? And it's not hard to understand children's stories because they're very, very clear. They have to be clear, or else your kids are going to go, what? Why didn't the dragon kill the knight? He's stronger. You know, like stuff like that. It has to be very straightforward and simple. Anyway, Evergiants. And then you grow up, read Shakespeare, and realize that fair is foul and foul is fair just might be true. Oh, isn't that great, Mr. Macbeth? Oh, isn't that? I love it. She takes a little bit of Shakespeare to make everything right again. And then you grow up and you're not an idiot anymore, and you learn stuff, and you're no longer a feminist. That's how it works. All right, here's longtime viewer, second-time donor has donated $1. Thank you, sir. They buy a lot of whitening creams in India, so yeah, they love fair skin. Really? I did not know that. I don't think you're being facetious. And if you are, I'm sure you'll tell me. But I did not know that. I'm sure many women in the world buy cream for their face. And I've met quite a lot of women from various backgrounds, and the smell you smell is not all perfume, gents. It's moisturizing cream. And I know because I've also tasted some of it, so it's a common thing. All right. 3 minutes in, doing okay.
And all my problems would disappear if a big, strong man showed up.
Okay, first off, her problems disappeared as a result of the fairy godmother helping her out and giving her the opportunity to meet someone, which is the equivalent of whether she was not in poverty or under the thumb of her stepmother. So all that is giving her the opportunity to meet someone. So in reality, yes, I would have a wonderful life if suddenly a big, gorgeous girl stepped into my life tomorrow and she was perfect and wonderful. And yeah, that would happen to everyone. But I still need the opportunity for that happenstance to occur. So I wouldn't say my problems would go away. In fact, that would bring up a lot of new problems, but it might be worth it. So we don't know what Cinderella's getting herself into with this Prince Charming, but I think it's a better scenario than what she was previously in. And plus, this is not a story about being an
Should-
ingenious slave worker and fighting against the power struggle of her stepmom.
It's more a narrative thing than you need to be with someone to be happy, because it's just like, oh, then they lived happily ever after. Oh, isn't that sweet? The two characters, oh, they fell in love. Oh, it's so beautiful, and it's a nice and happy. It's people at the time weren't thinking, oh god, this is going to be really problematic. You see, you're having the female protagonist falling with the main protagonist, and it's, oh god, I'm only imagining in like 2,000 years there's going to be someone who's just going to be really offended by this, and I think I need to change the story just to be sure.
Yeah, just again flip the genders, make Cinderella male, and the argument's exactly the same. Oh, all he has to do is find that perfect girl to solve all his problems, and have her love him, and they get whisked away to wherever she lives in the aristocracy or whatever castle that is. So, yeah, that would happen. That would be the same exact story. And maybe there's some more ingenuity to it. Maybe he has to try to charm her because he's the guy, and the guys have to charm the ladies, not the other way around. Then the onus would be on the lady to try to get the men. It's like, ooh, wait, there's a gender role reversal. The women have to fight for the male's attention. Huh.
That sounds like a sexism because it sounds like effort.
Yeah, women, you can't just look good. You have to actually have a nice personality and talk and have some intelligence. Oy.
Mm-hmm. That's the main change that's been made to most adaptations of Cinderella, from Ever After to the most recent remake with Lily James.
I still remember that, was it the 97 or the 99 made-for-TV movie with Whoopi Goldberg? And it was a black Cinderella. Obviously, Whoopi Goldberg was black queen, and I think it was a white king.
Yeah. I think white king. Brandy was Cinderella, and then you had Bernadette Peterson as the evil stepmother.
Yeah, it was. I didn't watch it because it's Cinderella, right? You know, it's Cinderella. You know the story, but very popular on TV. Got a lot of views. Big news story for the rest of the week. Which you're talking about a children's story on like primetime, like on a Friday or I don't even know what day it went on, but big deal to have the first black Cinderella. It's like, all right, yeah, I guess so. It didn't bother me because I live in Toronto. I'm around all these people. I think most cities or national or metropolitan cities have lots of diversity already. So growing up with kids of all backgrounds was not.
There are a bunch of Cinderella myths across cultures. Like the rough face girl is an example of a Cinderella that the Native Americans told, where basically this girl was set next to a like a fire for a while, and because of that her face was messed up, and her sisters just like mercilessly teased her, and all the girls in the town want to marry this guy named Strongwind, but he's invisible, nobody can see him. And the test that everybody has to take, every girl who wants to marry him has to see, all right, can you actually see him? And his sister tests them, and she asks him, okay, what's the bow of his sled made out of? What's his bow made out of? Stuff like that. And she's the only one that's able to do it because she's the only one pure of heart. And his bow is the Milky Way, or his sleigh is the Milky Way, and his bow is the rainbow. It's weird stuff like that. And then she marries him, lives happily ever after. It all ends nice and peachy clean.
And it's all based off the content of their character or what's in their heart. To prove to children it's not about what you look like, it's about what's inside that counts, which is pretty much what Cinderella is telling us. That you still need the the ticket of entry to get to the ball. You still have to pay your dues. You still have to look presentable. But after that, it comes down to what's inside, which is pretty universal in most of these stories anyway. It's not just how beautiful this lady is. Oh my God. No, it's what's inside that counts. Oh boy, another donation. Thank you from a longtime viewer. Not facetious. Example to Google. Top 10 best skin whitening creams in India. Updated 2020. Reviews and comparison, or search here on YouTube for a Vice video called Why India's Fair Skin Business is Booming. All right, there you go. You sold me, sir. That's exactly the truth. People in India like white skin cream. Okay, gotcha. But that's okay, ladies. I still love you, whatever your skin tone. You're gorgeous.
For the longest, I continued believing in them. But then I was introduced to the F word.
Oh, no.
Fuck! She was in
What? It cut out for me. For
feminism. She's going to say feminism.
Oh. Okay.
Fudge.
I was going to say
Target.
ferric acid, but okay.
Not that F word, the other F word, which is so simple, yet so misunderstood. I'm talking about feminism here.
Okay.
So for a start, you have this all wrong. So one side is over the other when you're talking about a particular ideology here.
I see a slight
See,
problem.
what
in
you've
your
got here
equation.
is a diagram of egalitarianism.
I don't think men equal women, and I don't think boys equal girls. Just in terms of calculus, okay? I don't think that's how it works. If you want to talk about laws, then you wouldn't even need to declare men or women or female or male. It wouldn't matter. So men and women are not equal. Just so you guys know that. Just genetically, physically, biologically, they're very different. And some neurologically, pick a system of the body, the bone density, hormonally, yeah, et cetera, et cetera. We can go on and on.
I like what chat's response was: fig, faggot, fairy, fondue, flag,
Fentanyl.
fudge, fun.
I discovered
France.
fentanyl. Fondue. Yeah, fondue is life-changing for some people. That's true. Okay, I'll agree with that.
Never tried it.
Oh, it depends on the fondue. It depends on how much chocolate you put in. Most people like a 68% dark chocolate fondue.
Oh, you put chocolate in cheese?
No, there's chocolate fondue. What, cheese fondue? No, cheese fondue is disgusting. Why would you do that?
Oh. I thought that fondue was just melted cheese.
Oh God, that's
fondue
gross.
Is basically just a sauce. Isn't it fondue just a sauce?
Well, okay, go to a wedding. Go to a wedding where they have a chocolate fountain fondue. It's fantastic.
Okay.
But you got to eat it quickly, or else everyone else eats it. So.
My aunt was the person who introduced me to feminism.
God damn it!
Well, your aunt's a cunt.
Women doing all these silly things. This is the problem, man. We're not strict enough with our women. Our women are bored of us. We got to do more to help them out. What if your lady friend? Sorry. Done?
Honestly, I feel less like irritated at the lady feminists as opposed to the white male feminists. They're far more obnoxious by and large. I would rather listen to this lady talk as opposed to hearing Vosh talk.
Oh my God.
That's just because you're a sexism, Dunn. You just like seeing pretty girls. You just look at her as a sex object, obviously.
Nah, I got a girlfriend. Thank you very much.
Oh, good answer. Fantastic.
You can't
100%.
just wipe this off. You gotta. It's a sexism. It's now going to follow you for the rest of your life.
That was this textbook
Just your
response,
opinion,
sir.
dude.
That was perfect. You're doing fine.
That's
No. My wife is gorgeous. That's okay. Here's Jake the surgeon. Thank you, Jake. I want my son to
Message
become
coming in.
a self-loathing,
Patching it through.
soy-infused, spineless, estrogen-filled manlet. Oh, manlet. That's a perfect. Oh, I like that one. Amazing words. He's a manlet. We got bint and we got manlet. I'm learning words every day from you guys. It's fantastic.
She was also the person who introduced me to books like Pride and Prejudice and Little...
Okay, Pride and Prejudice is a good book, but nothing to do with feminism.
It's a sexist book.
Sexist book.
Obviously sexist.
It's a classic. Sexism. Okay. War and Peace.
Well, I'm pretty sure she's going to claim it as like a feminist book or something. Like he's been introduced as she became a feminist.
Well, I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure. Like, isn't just from my understanding of Pride and Prejudice, isn't it kind of like an unrealistic expectations of what a man should do in a relationship?
It's
I think that's 50 Shades of Grey or Twilight.
It depends on what era that you're relating to. If you're talking about Elizabethan era, or around the 1920s, then sure, yeah, that was different. And what kind of characters and male? I guess you could say the male was the antagonist of the story. It depends on how you view those characters at that time period. Because when you have period pieces like Pride and Prejudice, you can't directly understand what's going on unless they explain in detail what the relationship is and what they're going through. So, A Streetcar Named Desire, the same idea. HUD, also period pieces. Like it's the setting, it's the world, it's middle America of 1930s, 40s, rural or urban. So you really have to get a feel for the characters, the setting, their economic world, what they're striving for. There's so many variables when you talk about males and females in a relationship or trying to be in a relationship. Pride and Prejudice is one of them.
So there's while we're in the watch together, there's some recommended videos at the bottom, and I just had a look at one of the titles, and it's called "How Do You Define Yourself?" I read TEDx Austin women as autistic women. that was a misread and a half.
That's hilarious.
Autism.
Autistic women.
Yes. From Austin, yes.
Women. Pride and Prejudice is still one of my favorite books till date.
Yeah, it's great.
But
I loved how Elizabeth defied societal norms in the Victorian era. And it got me thinking, why weren't we introduced to such strong and independent characters from the very beginning?
Because, okay, trying to understand like the Scarlet Letter.
Story?
Yeah, they're not children's stories. They're for young adults at most, at least, and adults at most. Like, you can't just introduce Schindler's List to kids. You can't just introduce all this gore and sex and violence to kids.
All right, little Daisy. So we're going to read you Pride and Prejudice, and also we're going to tell you about these really complex stories you're not going to be able to understand yet.
You shouldn't.
Show you a little movie called Schindler's List to make you understand how to do your chores.
Yeah, let's explain the power dynamic of the Nazi commander and his potentially love interest, who is a Jewish slave girl. Probably not the easiest thing to explain to kids. A little bit more nuance there. I mean, that's why we only learn Shakespeare, and I think I was at grade 7, and that's because we were getting bored in school, so they gave us harder books, and they gave us Shakespeare, plus we went to see Shakespeare at the Young People's Theater, performed by adolescents and young adults, which was great. In the original, well, not the original, but the best original Shakespearean language they can get. It was hard to interpret, but still, seeing the production and then reading about it and vice versa is great. So, if Pride and Prejudice was a film, which it is, maybe you can do a book report. Maybe you could actually teach your kids that way in a grade 7 or grade 8 class where you know your kids are smart enough and mature enough to understand the material. Then great. But on average, I'd say probably not the best. Unless you're big on reading, and then, okay, go crazy. Go for science fiction, go for historical dramas, Shakespeare, read some Homer, whatever floats your kid's boat. Great idea. Go for
Thing
it.
is, if she really wants like more feminist stories for young children, go write some. Like,
Well,
seriously, it's like you're saying, why didn't we have characters like Pride and Prejudice for kids? Well, okay, well, for start, you can't really give Pride and Prejudice to kids; they wouldn't understand it. Write your own book. The reason why you won't write your own book is because it's fucking difficult to write your own book, and it would be incredibly difficult to sell it to young kids. And partly because young kids don't care about feminism; they care about, I don't know, fun and fun things and life and being jealous of the freedom adults have. And then when they become an adult, they become jealous of the freedom that the kids have.
And there were some fun shows. I remember my childhood, the 80s, there was like Thundercats, there was Gem, there was G.I. Joe, you had Ghostbusters, all sorts of great shows for boys and girls. And we all watched them. Everyone watched everything. So...
Also, aren't a lot of kids productions now leaning towards the whole feminist lens anyway?
A lot of them are, like She-Ra leaned hard into it.
Wreck-It Ralph 2. Don't remind me of that shit show. Thank God I didn't watch it.
Netflix has Sabrina, CW has Batwoman and iZombie, though iZombie's okay. I actually really like iZombie.
All right. Here's Jake the Surgeon again. Children need to learn things that will help them once they become adults, not how to be insufferable. Does Pride and Prejudice teach you to be
What's your manager, please?
Yeah. I'm just trying to think what part of Pride and Prejudice would make you sort of obnoxious.
As far as I'm aware, Pride and Prejudice is a story about not judging a book by its cover.
I thought it was a story about space woods intended for children.
I'm thinking about Mr.
That would actually be
I'm thinking about maybe Mr. Darcy. Like maybe he's a bit too presumptuous. But
it through.
we're talking about the Elizabethan era, what's very formal. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe we'd have to do. I would have to do another reread just to see would that be too presumptuous for a male to be asking for a lady's hand in marriage for bad reasons or whatever. Yeah.
I think it seems as though the main thing is what's her name? Elizabeth, the main character, judges Mr. Darcy as this tight, way too strict, straight-laced dude who's very, very cold, when in reality he's actually a decent guy and treats his employees very well.
Sure. I mean,
that's my recollection.
Yeah. It's pretty simple what the story is about with the character and what she's trying to accomplish. But I don't know. I'm trying to see what else would be there. There's nuance to it. You have to know the period. You can't just go, oh yeah, this is anyone could read this, no problem. It's kind of like reading Mark Twain. You're like, wait a second, why are they painting a fence? Why is everyone doing this and getting along and coerced into doing whatever Huck Finn wants them to do? So it's you have to understand where it's coming from 100 years ago or 200 years ago. And that's what I don't think, because kids could barely pay attention to history class. Now you're going to want them to pay attention to a fictional world of something. So you have to you have to read up about what happened during that time period, how the economic scenario was, who are these people, where'd they come from. So it's probably not the best thing to do, as opposed to reading Shakespeare, where it's Macbeth and there's witches and there's a war going on and someone wants powers. That's easy to understand. It's pretty straightforward. It's just the language.
With Henry IV, or the parts 1 and 2, and Henry V.
Right, but the language is the huge barrier. So that would be we get what's going on. Same with Othello, but it's so nuanced.
Message coming in.
Same with King Lear. Same with Hamlet. The plots are simple, but the language is complex, and you're missing out learning that. Unless, hey, you want to challenge your kids, go for it. But maybe not grade school. Yeah. Anyway. Jake the Surgeon.
My mom, I was going to Shakespeare plays, I think when I was 10 or
Yep,
something.
Me too.
My There's
11.
the Utah Shakespeare Festival down in 3 hours away from my home.
Oh, they're great. I love them. We got bussed all the way downtown. I was in suburban Toronto, in the GTA, and then we got bussed all the way downtown, all the way down to King Street, just to watch plays at the Young People's Theater. It was fantastic. I loved it.
Oh, these are like professional like plays with. I think some of the best sets I've ever seen
Really?
of any like play ever. They're actually really kind of amazing. I'm just sad that we didn't go this year because of freaking COVID.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh. Bad Boy Beta brought up in the chat, I would love to see feminists take a crack at these masterpieces. Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Oh, dear. I'm not putting that on the screen. That is gross. That's a horror story. Holy crap. Anyway, let's get to the super chats so I don't piss people off here. Alrighty, son.
What is that, Shape of Water?
No.
It looks more like a romantic Cthulhu story.
Oh, alrighty, son. Let me introduce you to the works of Go Nagai. Go Nagai? Who's that?
I will look that up.
Can we point out also Pride and Prejudice, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies? I think that's incorrect grammar.
Okay. Needs a comma in there.
Should have a comma. Yeah.
There we. That's all.
Get rid of the first and then it's Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies.
There we go. See,
What's
shiny.
the name of it?
Go Nagai. I have no idea. Jake the Surgeon again. I was referring to feminism makes one insufferable. Yes, I know. We were joking around. That's okay.
He's a manga artist and author.
Oh.
He did Devilman. He did the Devilman stories. Apparently, it seems like that's what he's most known for.
Okay. I know those are really old, and I'm trying to remember what else he did, but I honestly don't know the guy.
Cutie Honey.
Oh God, for sure. Yeah.
Haranchi Gukuyin.
Grandizer Z or Messenger Z. Yeah. Oh yeah, watch that big time.
And Messenger.
Messenger Z. Yeah, exactly.
Messenger
Yeah.
are apparently the main thing that he's known for apparently.
Pretty much the inspiration for not Thundercats, Voltron. So yeah, really, really old stuff. Oh, here's a donation again from a longtime viewer. Judge a book by its cover, then burn it. Okay. Jesus. I don't know what philosophy that
Depends on the book.
Yeah.
Depends on the book. If it's 50 Shades of Grey, yes, I am down for fundamentals book burnings of that particular series.
Oh. See, there's nothing wrong with burning books, provided you have good reason. Oh, God. I would burn it. I would keep it on my shelf if I ever had it, just to say I have it.
I'd read it aloud on the stream because it would be hilarious.
Oh, dear. Okay, 4 minutes in.
Let's be real. 3 or 4-year-olds can't go around reading Pride and Prejudice. So they are going to learn from Cinderella and Snow White.
Patching it through.
Which means that these characters had to become stronger role models.
Okay. I mean, I'm not against the idea, but like, to what end? Like, what do you want to do?
I was 12 when I first read Pride and Prejudice.
All right.
I had this thought in the back of my mind, but I didn't have any exciting ideas. So the thought remained just that for a while. Then, in the summer of 2018, I undertook a photography project titled Fiery Tales.
Okay.
So for this project, I created a series of posters and got 4 of my friends and myself to dress up as traditional fairy tale characters, but completely changed the morals of these stories.
All right, that defeats the purpose of the story if you change the morals. I don't know why you would do that.
Let me guess. Instead, the guy is evil, the witch is misunderstood, and the girl is like £50.
Like it's
50 pounds or 500 pounds? Because a 50-pound girl sounds really unhealthy. An emaciated girl.
It depends what you change. Obviously, she could be a better story. I just wanted to. She could be a savant when it comes to writing, and she just knows. Oh yeah, if I just switch this around and add that, it's perfect. Who knows? Highly doubt it, but okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Jake the Surgeon. Go Nagai is the granddaddy of ultraviolet anime manga. Really? Oh, okay. Interesting. Strawman. Always nice to see a Strawman. Thank you, sir. Oh boy. 3-man picking a girl. Excuse me while I eat my bigot sandwich made by Joel. Oh, okay. At least it's delicious.
Joel's wonderful bigot sandwich.
Delicious, spiced up steak. Fantastic.
Sandwiches.
Yes.
Bacon.
Well, Indians don't use too much bacon as far as I recall, but they have fantastic
I
curry.
now want a sandwich because I have some bacon in the fridge. I want to get 8 slices of bacon, just crush it all into one sandwich, and just eat it.
That sounds like a waste of bacon. I think you only use 2 slices and eat it with some eggs.
I've got too much bacon in the fridge.
No, you don't. You can never have too much bacon. Bacon is like the universal meat, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Just any time of day. It's a snack. Bacon is a snack. When you don't have any beef, bacon works.
I do need to thaw some of the bacon in the freezer and just eat it, since we got like 3 full packs of the stuff that we just never eat.
I've got 2 full packs.
Nice.
Because I just, it's like so much effort. Like I get it for breakfast, but it's an extra effort to, you go and you put it on and then you fry it up and then you've got something extra to wash up afterwards. And it's like I already made the eggs and the beans and the toast. May as well just skip the bacon.
The problem with bacon is it's so good. If you start adding stuff to it, it takes away from the flavor. So you want your bacon experience to be as pure as possible.
So you add more bacon.
No.
You don't take away from the bacon. So instead, you just add more of it.
No.
You want pure bacon. All that
that's not
salty
the way.
goodness. Add extra salt in there if you want to.
That's like saying the steak is so good, I need twice the steak. It's
Message coming in.
not how it works.
Patching it through.
But hey, whatever makes you happy.
If you can do it for burgers.
Oh no, then you'll get this dry ground chuck flavor in your mouth, or whatever seasoning you put into the burger. You get stuffed. It's like, ugh. You want to balance your dish, whether it's eggs and bacon or hash browns or toast and jam or whatever. Maybe you want a nice light salad too. Whatever contrasts the flavor. You don't want to complement bacon. Bacon is powerful enough. Has so much fat. It's so thin and lean. And whatever smoky, whether it's injected or actual hickory smoke or back bacon, depending on how much skin you have on the side, how thick the meat is, how long it was fried, was it crispy and raw on the other side. Lots of variations you can do with your bacon. So very important when you fry your ham and how much fat there is. Ooh. Anyway. Strawman. Oh boy. 3-man pick on a girl. Excuse me while I eat my bigot sandwich made by Joel. Okay, I read that already. It's a great line. Jake the Surgeon. Am I going to be told to turn my privilege off and on by her? I don't think so. At least not yet. I haven't watched it all. But she doesn't seem like that kind of person.
Have you try turning your privilege off and on again?
Yeah, I don't know how that works either. Is that where you sit in one of those weird chairs? Not for men or non-mansplain chairs? I can't remember what they're called.
The whole point of this project was to challenge how women are portrayed in traditional media. This tiny photo shoot then became the basis of my book.
Of your what? Oh, she wrote a book.
No, she did write a book. They're all ugly. What the hell wrong with that girl's face? Why is she like 4 different faces mashed together and she has like different colored arms? Oh my god, she's a fucking what was it?
Also,
Damn it.
Illustrator.
Not Picasso. I'm trying to think of monster. Guy made of stitched together parts. Frankenstein. It's Frankenstein's monster. Just stitched together so many parts of a person. My god, it's horrific.
I think that's a veil, Shiny.
No, look, it's all different colors. Look, part of her face is one color, and then it's not like it's divided into 4. Then she's got a different colored throat, and then she's got different colored arms. Look at it.
I'm quite sure it's an Indian veil that they use to.
No, it's completely different colors. Look at her.
All right, Shiny, it's the Frankenstein's monster. All right, how's that? Okay, so she draws and writes. What a talented young lady.
New Age
indeed,
fairy
very
tales.
talented.
So I grew up reading Tales from the West, and I didn't have many characters that looked like me.
All right, that's fair.
So I decided to create brown characters
Yeah, great. That's cool.
so that children reading these stories could relate to them. Now coming to the other stereotypes that I broke.
But then you're telling the people to
So I
not
had
read the
fairly
other
dark
stories.
skin. In fact, I used to be much darker as a child.
Okay, I mean, that's fine.
One thing about these stories is that you can apply them to pretty much anything. You can apply. There are versions of the Cinderella story, the Sleeping Beauty story, all across cultures. It spans everywhere. It's not just Europe.
Well, I see nothing wrong with someone making kid stories that use the same mythos and just tweak them a bit. That might be interesting. It depends for what end and the message of the story. What's the ethical thing you learn from that story? That's what I want to know, because when we read some fairy tales, there's usually a moral teaching kids, you shouldn't give in to your vices. You know, you shouldn't eat too much candy or you'll get trapped by a witch and cooked up. So there's all these morals and lessons and things that prevent you from doing bad things as the point of these stories, aside from being whimsical and beautiful and what have you.
And I remember many relatives advising my mother to apply haldi, that is turmeric, to my skin and using this fairness cream and that fairness cream. And as a child, I just didn't get it. I loved my...
That's fine. That's fine. Not every girl likes moisturizer or this or that cream. I totally get that.
Patching it through.
Same with boys. We don't like, all this skincare crap. We want to run around and get sweaty, and we don't understand. Even nowadays, we don't probably care about putting moisturizer. Moisturizer is very important, gents. Oh my God. Holy crap. Your skin gets really dry as you age. So
I think we care less nowadays in the world of COVID, where we're just stuck in our houses.
you're constantly rubbing all sorts of antibacterial creams on your body or hands anyway. A lot of good that does. But it's part of, like, when I was going out in March, this is when COVID was starting up, the restaurants were having dispensaries of, what's that, hand sanitizer. And it's all free, right? So you're just constantly rubbing your hands and this and that. So, but man, it's still pretty bad out there. There's so many crazy things restaurants have to do to stay alive, making all these tents with the mosquito nets and the heaters that come out so you can stay warm, to eat outside because there's no law against eating outside. Oh, it's crazy stuff. So just all these things we've had to do to adapt just to keep a business afloat. Anyway, let's get back to skincare. Mike Testa, Shiny, pretty sure she is a fusion of the cover. Ooh.
But why would you just have a random fusion person? Is it like, I don't know, like they come together like Power Rangers?
White.
Like one becomes the arm, one becomes like...
brown, yellow, green. By your races combined, I am the bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, Captain Planet. I'd love to do a commentary on the AIDS episode of Captain Planet. It's just like, how did you ever think that would be a good idea to show to children?
Strawman, she just mad that they're opening a deli that sells best beef in India.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Cows, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking that it was that the chattel was of a more humanoid feminine nature, human trafficking. But that works too.
Oh dear, that went dark. Oh boy. Oh. Jake the Surgeon, Shiny, command your country to civilize India. They did, and then India said, has some hashish.
What you mean?
Has some tea.
You mean the Grand Army of the Republic?
No.
No, the British.
The British
imperialist.
The redcoats. The Empire leaving clearly didn't work. I think they had too much hashish. I think that was the problem.
I imagine they did. That was the problem.
India has some of the best teas if you ever go, or if you ever know an Indian restaurant or an Indian neighbor. They will like, come over, come over, have some tea. Oh my God. You are going to be just in heaven. If you like tea, of course. If you don't like tea, it's going to stink you up and go, oh my God, I can't breathe. But tea is beautiful stuff. Anyway.
Complexion. I didn't see what was wrong with it. But India as a country has always been so obsessed with fairness. Let me show you an example. So the funny thing here is that this is the wanted groom section, and this is how women are being marketed, with the most widely used adjective being fair. You get the point. So this prompted me to create a Snow White that combated colorism.
Combated what?
Is that herself? Colorism.
Colorism? What?
I think she means racism.
I guess.
I think colorism.
What is colorism?
I think colorism is. I think colorism, like as she's referring, I'll find the definition, but I'll see if I'm right. Is basically the notion that you are more fair based on the fairness of your skin, kind of like how a lot of times there aren't a lot of like African black actors, and Black Panther was kind of an aberration in terms of they actively went for people who were like not like olive skinned or like brown skin. They went for like African black skin. Yeah.
So more really specific.
Well, I suppose that's more of a context of a film that is actually taking place in Africa. So
exactly,
yeah, that'd make more sense. But that's context of the film. Really.
This is great.
Yeah.
Message coming in.
It's just like in Game of Thrones, they didn't really have any African black characters. Most of the characters were of a lighter brown complexion.
Okay. Take a 610. Just explain. Colorism is racism within groups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Prejudice or discrimination
I don't
of a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group.
Because to me that just sounds strange, and I've never heard of it.
All right, here's Mike Testa. Wonderful song here. Captain Racism, she's a hero. Gonna take your racist population down to... I don't know how that plays out in the song, but gonna take your race population down to zero. Oh. We're gonna be generically gray altogether. That's fantastic.
But that is a strange face. So you're black, white, more regular skin, brown.
Either way,
and ambiguously brown.
Either way, she's still putting a lot of cream on her face. It's just multiple colors of cream. So I don't know if she's actually giving into the capitalist scheme, or she doesn't care.
I don't know. If you just, it kind of looks like a shit Batman villain. You know, like the Joker and so many other Batman villains just wear face paint.
Message coming in.
It just looks like
Patching it through.
she's going to be the next, I don't know, Catwoman or something.
here's
Next Harley Quinn.
Here's Mike Testa. Okay, now I was only joking that she was a hybrid. Yeah, I don't know what's going on in this picture either. I don't know what she's trying to prove here. Generally speaking, when you talk about what's fair or beautiful or attractive, symmetry is one of those things. Also, when women apply way too much makeup, it really shows. And the best makeup artists that I've actually met some lady makeup artists. They're very good at their job, and they get work all year round, regardless of the time, because women want to look good. You can't tell sometimes because it's a natural look. And that's a combination of not just cream and foundation, but all sorts of other things, if, of course, that's what the lady wants. So,
Or Master says she's the next Two-Face. I'm going to disagree. I think she's the next Five-Face. She's got 5 of them now.
I'm purple, I'm white, I'm brown, was that black? I guess instead of purple, I can't really tell if my screen's kind of...
I think it's shaded black, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's black. But I just imagine, I'm Two-Face. Who are you? I'm Five-Face. I have 5 faces and 5 different personalities. Each one has their own race.
I am all the races. I am all...
Message coming in. Patching it through.
I am all of Europe. Like, okay.
I am the Senate.
So, Jake the Surgeon, let's take a European story and race swap. It's okay when we do it. Yeah, I know. This is kind of goofy. I don't know what she's trying to get at here, but okay. Indians' version of 50 Shades of Grey. 50 Shades of Moo? What? You know, Indians created the Kama Sutra, so I think they've got the sex figured out, like thousands of years ago. They were like, yeah, we got sex. We're good. We got it all. We have stuff you never thought of. Okay, we don't need any more books. We are living the dream. Oh boy. Ren Wesley, how you going? I'm a black woman, and colorism, while a neologism, is a real phenomena, even within families. Cool. You're told don't marry someone darker than you. Oh, really? Didn't know that. Most parents, at least in my immediate area, they will be very blunt. The same way my brother's wife's family is like, oh, you're marrying the white guy because they're Chinese, because that's just their mentality. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with saying, oh, the black guy, the white guy. Who cares? What does it matter? No one's offended by a member of the family saying stuff about another member of the family, unless it's like really horrible. So, but their appearances don't bother us. But looking like a multicolored peacock is probably not the best idea when you're trying to attract a mate. It's like, what were you going for there? Was that like some Halloween experience? You wanted to confuse someone? I had 5 kinds of colors. I didn't know which one, so I used them all. Like, no, it's not.
I'll accept maybe it is a thing, because obviously I'm not the kind of person who has a lot of experience with racisms in terms of skin color. But
it sounds accurate. It sounds accurate.
It could happen. It seems like a very strange term, and it's just something which I've never really heard of at all.
It's news to me. Yeah.
I've heard it a couple times, like in kind of the same breath as Orientalism is brought up. Similar concept.
Yeah, some people take offense to even mentioning the idea of the Orient or Orientalism. Yeah. I don't know why. It's a perfectly acceptable word. It's not very accurate. It's kind of old, but we know what you're talking about.
All right. So the next picture that I'm about to show you will probably make you go like, or But would you have
it's
the
a
same
fat cat.
reaction to the next picture? We have been conditioned to believe that fat equals ugly.
No, fat is unhealthy, which is ugly.
Usually when
Because
medicine tells us one thing, say if you have this body type, which may lead to this and that, and then your family dies or a family member dies, we're like, oh shit, he should have took care of himself. That's why we see it as bad, because it is a perceived pain in the family.
there is a reason, but there's a reason behind every kind of idea of attraction. And obviously, the reason why people generally aren't attracted to fat people are because it's unhealthy. It actually, they say don't judge a book by its cover. Actually, your appearance can say a lot about you. Again, if you're fat, it could symbolize that you're not physically active. It could mean that you're unhealthy. It could mean so many things. It has so many connotations to it. Just like, if you have messy, greasy hair, you don't groom much, you don't take care of yourself. If you're, I don't know, if on the opposite, if you are slim, if you are strong, you're muscular, or you're physically fit, it means you're active, it means you're healthy, and it's got all these other positive connotations to it, which is why we are just the negative connotations of being fat is what pushes you away, because everything in your head about what you're attracted to is about finding a potential, mate, a potential partner. So that's the reason why, you can be attracted to a fat person, but it just means but generally they're less attractive, and people will agree they're less attractive for reasons.
It's kind of like the idea of, let's say, a tattoo. Tattoos are generally nice to look at if they're done well. There's bad tattoos and good tattoos. There's people with way too many tattoos. There's people with tattoos randomly throughout their body. And then there's like women who get like a nice, cute little tattoo. Little things like that, little touches are great. Now, if you have a gorgeous woman and she has a tattoo on her breasts or something, it's like, that doesn't look right. Something's wrong there. For me, that's just my personal reaction to she spent the time to have a tattoo artist grab their bosom and have a needle on there, and that was okay. Like, she thought that was a good idea. Not so much what it looks like, but the fact that she thought that was a good idea turns me off, which has nothing to do with aesthetics. Just the process to get to that point in her life. It's like, you know what I really need? I need a giant tiger across my tits. That is a great idea in my quest for art on my body. So
maybe from like the hip to maybe like up the side, but definitely not the tit.
Oh yeah, I've seen my friends' girlfriends getting like a cherry tree branch, or a tree rather, from the lower, not the lower thigh, I think the lower buttock up to the waistline, and it kept changing. Like, so she would do a little bit here and there over the years or over the months until it grew up to her chest, and it was so elegant and simple. Well, it became more elaborate as the years went by, but it was like, wow, like she's really taking the time. She knows what she wants. Like, that takes effort. The same thing with a friend of mine. He loves Disney characters. He got both his arms. Like, he's a big husky guy, and he was slowly building this tattoo from his forearm to his bicep, actually up to his shoulder, finally, of Disney characters, and they were beautifully done, beautiful ink. Mickey and Donald Duck and all these other guys, just all cartoons, but really like taken time to be done. I appreciate the effort behind tattoos. So when you see something like women getting tattoos and with tramp stamps and this and that, kind of a turnoff, just for me. That's my taste. But tattoos by themselves, the idea of getting art, it's a mixed bag for some. I like it in general, but I can understand the duality of art on the human body that doesn't work right in some cases.
Obviously, Smudge, you're a sexism.
It's just your opinion, Shiny.
That's just your opinion. That's his opinion, yeah. All right. Ooh,
it's my opinion that it's not my opinion.
It's all subjective, active nonsense.
Which is all.
It's my opinion. That's subjective.
Which is all a social construct anyway. So who cares?
The social construct is a social construct. So therefore, the social construct is social and arbitrary.
Therefore, everything including sexism and racism is meaningless.
All right, Jake the Surgeon. Since lions and hyenas used to live in Europe, I'm going to read you The Lion King, but in the Ice Age, Europe with only white actors. Watch heads explode. The Ice Age Lion King. Wow, I don't know. I'm trying to think about that. Like 10,000 years ago, during the Ice Age.
Maybe Hamlet. Maybe since that's supposedly what it's based off of. I don't personally agree with that. I think it's a Frankenstein's monster of Hamlet and Henry IV. Birth Part 1.
Interesting.
That's more what it makes sense.
I honestly don't like The Lion King that much, personally.
But I think it's fine. It's not, but it's.
I think the stage production is much better. That was fun
because it's a lot more interesting.
They simplify it. They take away all the stupid elements from the movie or the Disney film. I hate that Akuma Matata bullshit. I really didn't like that song.
It means whatever you want it to mean.
It's like, just throw away all your responsibilities and don't worry about anything. It's like, what the hell? That's not a good message for kids. Your dad died. Forget about it. Don't worry. Just go off and do your own thing and wander the earth and eat fruit and sleep. Like, what? No.
But it means no worries.
For the rest of your days, have a completely meaningless existence. Go for it, Simba. Woohoo!
Hence why Timon and Pumbaa are more Falstaff than they are Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
Ooh, Falstaff. I don't know. I like Falstaff.
I like him, but he serves more of a function in the plot similar to Timon and Pumbaa than the others.
Yeah, I guess they're comedic. Yeah, okay. I get it. That's okay. Mike Testa, she's our love magnified, so you better run and hide. Help her with the preparation for loot and reparations. Oh, I'm not going to sing that, but I know. Oh, dear. Yeah.
No worries for the rest of your days.
Message coming in.
It's a problem-free.
Oh, no.
Philosophy.
Alex Halo, we should teach children otaku culture instead. I don't think we're ready.
We disagree.
I don't think the Western world's ready for Japanese culture. It's just too much. Anime is too powerful a thing.
Hentai culture, definitely.
Hentai culture. Oh, God. I was playing Among Us yesterday, and we were playing. We didn't know it was with a 10-year-old. We had no idea because we could barely hear them. It was like, is that a little girl? Oh, that's a boy. Oh, my God. What do we do? We got to watch our language.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
So, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Got to be careful when you're playing with 10-year-old kids. Gaming brings people together, just not the way you think. Jake the Surgeon.
Yeah, clear.
Well, Simba never told them about this dad, and it was something he needed at the time. Yeah, just don't tell anyone your problems. Just keep it all inside. Just forget about anything bothering you. Dance and sing and get drunk and wander the earth. Yeah.
Eat bugs.
We need a time skip scene. Make it fun and playful and have a musical interlude. He's like, why? What? Oh, he's grown up now. Yeah, okay. What do you do? Nothing. Alrighty.
And is that we only apply this to humans. We've all seen someone get fat shamed. In my case, it was my younger sister. So I wanted the story of The Little Mermaid to be about body positivity.
Yeah, but was your sister hot, was the question. You see, if she's fat and hot, we're okay. Guys are like, yeah.
The thing is, we don't apply it to cats because, you know, a fat cat, it's like, oh, it's cute. We don't think about cats in the same ways we think about people, because we think about people as I don't know. Animals are more there for, I don't know what quite the right word is really, but I don't think you can quite make comparisons between a cat and a person. I think they're in completely different leagues.
Same with puppies and other pets. I mean, if you look at a fat cat, you're like, okay, who's the cat lady that owns that one? And abusing the crap out of it.
I mean, the cat's still unhealthy.
And the cat was going, you need more. You need more, Mr. Smithers. You need more. You're not cuddly enough. Yeah. Don't overfeed your pets. Pets should never be fat. That's ridiculous. Unless you have like one of those giant St. Bernards and you're like, okay, I don't know. Do you eat like half a cow? Like, what do you eat? I don't know. Just keep going.
With the tail as a metaphor for her body. My Little Mermaid loved every curve in her body, and nobody could tell her, "Itna mat kha, moti ho jayegi," which is to say, don't eat so much, you'll grow fat.
Well, if you're a mermaid, you are extremely athletic. You are living in the water, and anyone who's really good at swimming is very lean anyway. I've never seen a fat...
look at like swimmers. Like,
yeah, I've never seen a fat
swimmers
fish.
Are generally.
I've never seen a fat shark or a fat whale. Like whales are just big because they're whales. But
like whales and sharks, they have extremely big muscles. Like their entire body is almost a muscle.
Also, they live at crush depths, which means that most of like the pressure is boiled away most of the fat from them.
Yeah, so fat mermaids just don't sound believable.
But don't eat too much is a good moral, as, you know, you don't want to be gluttonous. You don't want to just scoff down food and just eat it all down. It's unhealthy.
Message coming in.
Now,
which is where the saying, you know, don't eat too much, I suppose, comes from, because you shouldn't eat too much. It's the what? I don't see the issue here. You shouldn't just endlessly eat Jaffa cakes or cake or chocolate all the time. It's something which you have to have in moderation, otherwise you become the size of Saturn.
Generally speaking, that's a very good philosophy. Now, if we're talking about ancient Greece, or we're talking about a hedonistic perspective on life, there is the other school of thought, which is the Cyrenicist, which is to consume as much as possible and try everything. And you eat everything and you try everything, you experience everything, and that's the best way to live according to them.
Message coming in.
So obviously modern science tells us otherwise, but there are very happy people who are gigantic and they're okay with their weight and they know they're fat, and that is a healthy mental outlook, even though it's not a healthy physical state of being.
Well, you should be okay with it, but you shouldn't. It's not something you should strive to be. Like, you shouldn't get mental like issues from your
that's
weight.
What I mean. That's what.
But you shouldn't be told that this is not acceptable as in society, but acceptable as in maybe if you are overweight, you should do something about it.
Exactly. Now, what I'm referring to, generally speaking, is with my chef friends. They're generally larger people because they are constantly eating. They're constantly tasting the food, cooking it, ba-boom. Now, that doesn't mean you can't be a thin chef. I've seen those too. But most of them tend to be larger because they're throughout the entire day, if they're working like 15-hour days, whatever, they're constantly eating. So it's part of their lifestyle. They know that. They're like, yeah, I do this every day. That's their thing. So you can't say, hey, maybe you should cut back, but this and that. They're happy. And that's what I mean. I want you mentally to be healthy, and then you can decide what you want to do with your body at that point. So mental health is the first step to having a better physical health. But if you're mentally there and you say there's nothing wrong, I could die tomorrow of a heart failure or coronary, whatever. Yeah, you've accepted that. That's fine. So what she's referring to is the insult, the emotional impact of her her sister being called fat. So that's why she wrote this story about a mermaid.
Fat mermaid.
Jake the Surgeon.
I'm pretty sure at that point you just sink like a stone to the bottom of the ocean.
Fat floats, actually. You'd be fine.
Well, then you would be able to swim. You'd just be floating at the
You'd
top.
be gigantic. You'd be this giant ball.
You'd be a fucking whale.
Jake the Surgeon. Overweight pets are almost always the result of the owner. That's true. People have the choice to be fat and remain fat. It's a false equivalence. That's true. Can't argue with that. Unless, of course...
I think I may have accidentally broken my pop filter.
Oh, dear. Good stuff there, Shining.
Well, I didn't mean to hit it.
I have 2 pop filters. I'm not even using them. They're just off to the side. Probably I should start using them. Anyway. Evar Jantz, why even use the story of a Little Mermaid? Make up your own fable or fairy tale. Exactly. This would have worked perfectly with a cooking story of someone in the kitchen who's big and fat and everyone's making fun of them. And they're like,
But then that'd be sexist because they'd be telling women to cook and you'd be telling women to go to the kitchen.
Well, it would be an interesting story because the chef or whoever it is mentally okay with it, and there might be a little kid who's not, and they're getting big, and they really like the chef because they make such good food, so they just keep eating it. And he tells them a story. Well, I'm big because I have to make sure what you get is good, and I want you to get the best food, yada yada. And this is the result of my choices in life. And you could say you can change your life at any point in time, and you can stop eating that food right now, yada yada. Power of free will, embellishing the empowerment of people growing up to be whatever they want as a child. Go crazy with that.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So, lots of stories you could tell about people and being larger or being healthy.
How many times have you heard someone say this? Or, let's be honest, said this to someone else?
Also, I can't help but see the mermaid
I got
isn't
working
actually
on
that
my
fat.
favorite fairy tale. The glass slipper suddenly became so much more after I started throwing the F word around.
What?
Effing slippers.
Fucking slipper.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Or Foucault slippers. Nihilistic slippers, yeah. Okay. Mike Testa, nihilist Simba would be funny just to watch. I don't know. that sounds... I don't know, just the whole concept of taken to the extreme, Hakuna Matata. It's like, not only does it not matter, nothing matters. I'm just gonna walk into the sunset and just keep walking. It's like, what? How about the kingdom? How about your family? It's like, it's fine.
Fuck him.
Cinderella, as we know,
She's
has
gonna snout
always
this.
been very hardworking. I just thought it was time she reaped the rewards for it all by herself. Because let's face it, real life doesn't come with fairy godmothers. One of the biggest...
Okay, so...
But then you're missing the part of it being a fairy tale, something more mystical and not supposed to be, entirely realistic.
So she's breaking... That obviously wasn't a glass slipper, but the idea is that she's breaking the glass slipper to break the glass ceiling. Is that...
Don't know. The only thing I can imagine is... But I think you're just saying that Cinderella could... she just didn't... She just decided not to work her way out of it. She just didn't work her way out of her problems, you know?
She managed to argue with her stepmother to give her better treatment. Like, what do you do?
The thing is, I would agree to an extent where, you can't expect someone to fix your problems for you. It's better to fix your own problems. But I would actually think it's kind of ironic, considering the philosophy that this lady follows, That she doesn't want other people to fix her problems
Message coming
for
in.
her, but that's what feminism is
Patching
kind
it
of
through.
all about.
That would be,
And it's kind of the same ideology of just crying until someone fixes it.
that would be a much, much larger story. If you were talking about a person starting from poverty and fighting against her family, which is abusing her, and then what? Like, what, does she become a queen? Does she help her family and through kindness? Like, what happens? That's a very, very long story. I guess you could do it. I don't know, but it would either be a very simple plot or a very long story. All right. Alex Halo. Teach otaku history in school. The Fate series? I don't know. That sounds a bit silly. Vampires and magical magician wars and women who were also men, who are mostly women from history, were powerful heroes. I don't know. That's crazy. Too much crazy in the Fate series. But there's too much crazy in every anime story, so it doesn't really make a difference.
Opposite to equality has always been the wage gap that exists between
Oh, we go.
Oh, here we go.
Wage
Okay.
gap. How did we get from stories about empowering girls to do whatever to the wage gap? If they're an entrepreneur or you want them to be entrepreneurs, the wage gap wouldn't exist because they'd be their own boss. You wrote your own books. I'm assuming you also drew them all by yourself. You're the one who made those books. It's all you. There's no wage gap. I don't get it.
men and women. According to the Global Wage Report 2016 to 17, in India, an average graduate woman earns about rupees 600 per day, as opposed to a graduate man who earns rupees 800 per day.
Okay, these are ruples, I believe. What were they? Sorry. Whatever currency were in India. Now, I don't know what it's like in India for men and women and what the wage gap is. All my information comes from North America, so I can't say. Maybe there is a wage gap in India. It's possible. India is a very diverse country. There's different pockets of the country that are very poor. So it's hard to gauge, and that's possible that's true. So she could have some good data there. I don't know. But to the Western world, where we've done these tests for about, 70 years now,
Message coming in. Patching it through.
it's not a very good argument. It's not a very strong argument. There are some cases here and there, but in most cases, even the past 5 years, it's mostly been on the side of the women making more money than the men, which is interesting. Mike Test again. Lion King is a film about nihilistic lions intended for nihilistic children. Smud for adult Simba voice role also claims kids with key swords wants head for lock. What the hell? What? Somehow you combine voice acting with Kingdom Hearts and nihilism. What?
Message coming in. Patching it through.
And a reference to Patrick Willems. What is forelock? I don't know what's going on anymore. Head for lock? What is head for lock? Anyway, Andrew Clark. Mu Mantai is Cantonese for Hakuna Matata. Oh, that's cool. Didn't know that. Good to know.
This 50% wage gap continues to haunt us even today. In My Happily Ever After, Cinderella shatters the glass ceiling by overcoming this wage gap and achieves her ambitions. It's pretty magical in its own way. My mother has always taught me to fight my own battles. And women are very capable of doing just that. But everybody loves a damsel in distress, don't they? Media has romanticized the idea of beauty.
And how long ago was this published?
By quick thinking.
A Witch Shall Be Reborn by Robert E. Howard. Also story. Okay, this is an anthology, so it's basically a magazine, probably a pulp magazine. Lovecraft. Wow, that's really old. I don't know any of those guys. Whoa. So we're looking at about 100 years ago. Okay.
Hulky. From film industries to comic franchises, everybody is guilty of this.
Is guilty of having damsels in distress? It's a very. It doesn't necessarily have to be a female, but there's usually a story where a hero character has to go save another group of people or an individual, which is like, I don't know, been throughout history. Even in Star Wars, I mean, it's just a very common thing. So why is it a bad thing though? I don't get it. Even if it's a strong man who's in a jail cell, he's still stuck in a jail cell. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. If what's her name? Princess Leia was Princess Leonard, it would be exactly the same scenario. Still a person who doesn't have the secret data tapes for Mr. Mrs. Darth Vader, whatever we want to call her. Wouldn't change anything.
Sure, you have Wonder Woman and Captain Marvel, but then you also have Iron Man and Deadpool.
Okay. We also have
Iron Man. Okay.
We also have female Deadpool, I believe. We have, was it Stace?
Gwenpool.
Sorry?
Gwenpool.
Gwenpool, there, that's the one we were looking for. We have Squirrel Girl. There's dozens of female superhero heroines, so I don't know what she's getting at. Maybe.
Considering the amount of because if you look at all the comic books which Marvel and DC have been putting out for a very long time, you think that these heroes would have caught on by now, but the thing is they kind of haven't, have they?
Well, it's interesting that all these buyers of these comic books over the decades have been mostly males. I wonder why that is. And yet there's all these females in comics, and yeah, they exist, but it's mostly males who buy these things. So I don't see what the problem is, why we suddenly need to have female equivalents of Iron Man or this or that. It's like, we do that. We already have them.
I think what's going to happen is, I don't think she's complaining that they're men. It's that like Iron Man saves Pepper Potts.
But then Pepper Potts saves Iron Man.
I'm just following her logic here.
This is not a big deal. There's plenty of stories decades ago of women being very powerful. X-Men, the whole Phoenix saga for Marvel. Wonder Woman, obvious is an example. She-Hulk. There's so many. What is your argument, lady? And what's wrong with having Iron Man and Thor and all these other well-known superheroes in DC and Marvel?
Hey, who's on your t-shirt?
Yeah, what if we have
well, currently on my t-shirt I have Venom.
Yeah, like what if we have like a female Charles Xavier? Like do you want like a non-ableist woman who can control people's minds? Like was that like better? But because it's a man, it's sexist? I'm not seeing the problem there.
But this is an audience.
There is a slow revolution that's coming about.
I love that guy there. I was going to try and pause on the audience, but let me try and go back a little. You see that older guy there sitting next to the girl? I kind of feel like he's that's some dad that's just been dragged into this lecture and by his daughter. It's like, I'm fucking here. But that's funny enough, his daughter looks more more fed up than the dad.
Where's the food? Where's the concession stand?
I'm hungry. I can't believe we have to go to this.
Is becoming more gender sensitive.
Gender sensitive. When have comics not have women in them that were strong and had superpowers and fought alongside the men? Like, read any X-Men Marvel comic. There's plenty of female superheroes. Oh, they're too sexy. What do you want them to do? Fat and ugly? No.
Fat heroes. Obviously, you need more. What's her name? Fast Pass.
Fast Pass? What was
that? Was that her name? I'm trying to remember.
Trailblazer.
No, it wasn't Fast Pass. That's
Pathfinder.
Thing of Truth. No, it was the lady. New Warriors.
Oh.
I'm trying to Blaze something.
Trailblazer.
Trailblaze. That's it.
With the magical backpack.
Heroes like Trailblazer. Oh. Oh dear.
The magical backpack that we didn't know what it did. And she's so fast, she shows up to the scene of the crime for everyone else, waddling through. She breaks down walls like the Kool-Aid Man. Trailblazer, I make trails when there are none, through solid concrete.
All I'm saying is that we can go much faster.
What do you mean faster? What speed are you talking about? Representing women in comic books that no one wants to buy? Like, what are you talking about? What is the problem here?
If we start right from the beginning. So,
let's reboot all the comic books over. This time, everyone's a girl. How's that for representation? Would you be happier that way? Like, what do you want, lady? Oh my God, this comic book from 100 years ago. Like, there's this guy saving a girl. Like, oh, it's so sexist. Like, were girls reading that back in the day? Probably not.
If we change the story a little.
Slay. Okay.
That's like a psychopath.
Yeah, I don't think this is the right equipment for slaying a dragon. Just my opinion, as the idea of the mythos of a dragon, a gigantic beast that flies through the air, little short sword.
Breathes fire.
Yeah, not gonna do it. Just you might need a bit more equipment.
And Sleeping Beauty was about women saving themselves instead of waiting around to be rescued.
Okay, you're unconscious. What the hell are you talking about?
But the thing is that you're not always going to... You have... This is the problem with like a lot of, more feminist stories, is that they never have any weaker moments for the protagonist. And the thing is, you need weaker low points for the protagonist, and having protagonists that need help could often make them stronger. Having a team, because a lot of team stories is the whole idea of being stronger together than being apart, because as a team, a perfect dynamic would be that each one makes up for their own weaknesses, their own shortcomings. Even if they don't get along perfectly, the idea is that their powers work together, or that any kind of strengths and weaknesses work together, really. So it's like you need to have stories where people need help or are weak, and you don't, because you're worried about your politics narrative, you decide that, oh no, we can't do that because that might leave our woman a little bit too, I don't know, might be considered not progressive enough.
What's going to be the story of Sleeping Beauty? She decides not to bite the apple and shoves it into the witch's mouth, and like, you eat the thing, Like what is? It's no longer Sleeping Beauty. It's like aggressive lady forces apple down witch's throat story. I don't know.
It looks like she's just cutting herself, really.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy. Oh, okay. Taker 610. In Pakistan, a 44-year-old man abducted a 13-year-old girl and claimed to marry her consensually. A court validated it, but pick your battles. Yeah, there's obviously horrible stories happening in certain parts of the world where the rights of women are not protected. So this is a thing. This is true. This is why we always talk about, look to Saudi Arabia, look to all these other Middle Eastern countries where human rights abuses are happening. That is where the argument should be. And I'm assuming she's in India. I'm assuming maybe she's not in India. Maybe she's in, I don't know, some part of America where they've attracted the Indian audience, and they're talking about their homeland so that they're interested in that. I could see that happening. So it's probably a relevant conversation just because it's so bad in that part of the world. And from our perspective, we're like, this is not working. You're not helping anyone. You're not changing anything. You're not going to change the comic book industry. A bunch of posters with your face with a sword on them does not make me believe you, etc. Maybe it's different over there. Maybe it's better for them to empower their girls more. Maybe. I don't know. But there's a better way of doing it.
The problem is that it's the argument that often comes up, especially when dealing with other countries. It's like when people bring up sexism, like the best examples of it are obviously in other countries. Again, Pakistan, very good example. And then it's somehow, you say that, because it happens here, it happens everywhere. This is the entire world. The entire world is sexist. It's like, okay, give me an example in the actual either Western world or my own country or even America. And the thing is, it's much hard. You can't find examples like that at all. You can't judge the entire world based off of the normalities or what horrible things that happen in another country, because obviously I don't want to say less developed, but I suppose that's the closest word I can think of it. They're not as the society isn't developed as much as the most of the Western world.
This is true, and usually the way that the Western world or America spreads their democracy is through bombing. So unless they're going to shift their eyes to some countries' political building, it's like, no, we won't spread democracy in Pakistan anytime soon. Because
another thing is that this isn't really our area of expertise. We don't know anything about Pakistan. We're not connected to Pakistan in any way, or India. So we don't really know anything. That doesn't have anything to do with us. If you want to do something about like sexism or racism, that would be a really good place to start. But it's just, I don't know how to say it, but I don't know. I don't know what the right word is, because I'm having to pick your words carefully.
From our first world perspective of what she's talking about, it's all very facetious and funny to us, but we know she's taking it seriously, and she's talking to her Indian audience, which is different than the Western world. I know that. I've spoken to Indian people. It's very different. Yes, these are obviously cultures and oceans apart, so we don't know all the details of sexual dynamics in that part of the world. So yeah, we're joking about it because it sounds so silly to us, but perhaps to the audience, they're like, hey, this actually happened to someone they know. So whether her comic books or whether her stories are going to do anything, I highly doubt it. But if this is the kind of thing she grew up with or she knows of, then I can understand where she's coming from a little bit more. Still a little strange, though.
Because for as long as we continue to advocate the idea of a damsel in distress, we will truly only be sleeping.
I don't know.
I feel pretty awake to me.
I really think that's pushing the metaphor a bit too far. There's nothing wrong with having damsels in distress. You're not looking down on women, all right? If anything, women are becoming more valuable because they are in distress and people want to save them, whether it's a strong male lead or another female or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's part of the story. It's a conflict. You have to go to that place to save the person. Happens in all sorts of stories, even in contemporary ones. So removing it is not going to fix the problem of male or female and male disparity of laws or cultural norms. But thinking so is the problem. This is the problem I have. Storytelling exists and has existed for hundreds, if not thousands, if not tens of thousands of years for a reason. You can't just say, oh, this is bad because I think so. You have to give us good argument. And if you want to empower girls, great. Write a story about empowering girls. But you can't remove thousands of years of history that has worked and saying this is bad. And I believe we've had that. I'm sure there have been people over the decades since feminism came around that have done these stories for kids. And I've never seen the popular
Patching it through.
female heroine saving themselves from the sleeping draught that they've accidentally almost swollen and killed the poisoner and taken the kingdom and whatever happens in that happy ending. I don't know. Oy. Mike Testa, Hakuna Matata, it means life is meaningless, nala SB. Nala SB? Is that something I don't... Is that a spelling mistake? I don't know. I'm sorry. Do.
All right, so check this group of words out.
All right. Clumsy, vain, witty, successful, beautiful, tall, hungry, happy. I just pictured a very gorgeous, tall, desirable lady I want to spend some time with. I mean, I really want to spend some time with that. Take her out to some really great steakhouses, maybe a nice smokehouse, get a flight of 4 kinds of whiskey to go with the brisket and the sausage and the cornbread. Yeah. And she's gonna
What's a brisket?
A brisket, it's a slice of beef, or a slice of meat rather.
Okay.
It's very well. I think Jewish people eat it, part of their deli sandwiches. But smoked meat, it's one of the best parts.
Nothing out of the ordinary, just another bunch of everyday adjectives. However, there is one word in there that changes how we interpret everything around us. In our world, beauty is not just another adjective as it should have been. Beauty is an association.
So is red. So is any adjective. So is any adverb. So is any adnoun or pronoun. What do you... Oh my God. Do you know the nature of language, lady? Like, I studied linguistics for 2 days. I know words. Like, yes, so have children.
Beauty. Definition. Beauty.
For example, I could take tall and associate with the word woman, and already I have created a relationship which I find attractive. Not necessarily beautiful, but in my brain, because I like tall women, I have a preference. Therefore, this tall woman, by words alone, is beautiful, without even needing the word. And all I did was take these words, and I pictured a lady that I would like to take out to a restaurant, because I know she's hungry.
And shoot in the back of the head.
Sorry. What? Sorry?
Nothing. Well, you just said take out, and I was like, I'll take out back and just like pop in there. All right.
Oh dear, Shiny, what are you doing with my beautiful food analogy? Oh my God. Maybe if the smokehouse has like a slaughterhouse right next to it, there's a cow right there.
But anyway, she's trying to say. I think what she's trying to say is that because like we associate beauty with being successful, or like say, if someone is beautiful, that means they're successful. I don't really think that's true. I think that maybe we associate successful and beauty, but it's not one way. It's like you don't need to be beautiful to be successful, but it's just something that you associate with each other because if you're successful, you've got your life in order, you've got family, you got this, that, and the other, you've got a good job, blah, blah, blah.
It means you have legs for days, you're a lady, and we are going out for steak. Okay, that's what it means to me. I don't know about you, but you got to treat those tall girls have to eat, and they got to eat a lot. All right? You're going to learn this very soon, Shani. I don't know how tall you are, but if you have a tall girl, I had a girl who was taller than me. I'm 6'2". She was 6'3.5". Tall girl. Oh. She had a good time. We had a great, I'm telling you, so much indulgence of the oral persuasion. It was just constantly having a good time. All right. Find a girl who eats just like you, and you're going to have a great time. That's how it works. There's a very cool Caribbean song. I can't remember how it goes. If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, don't get a pretty woman your wife. From my personal point of view, get an ugly girl to marry you. And the whole idea behind that was that girl knows how to cook.
All right.
Yeah. Anyway.
I can't say about anything about like dating a girl that's taller than you. And I'm 6'2" as well. My only relationship was with the girl who was about up to my shoulder, like kind of smaller than me.
That's all right. That's
lot smaller than me.
All right. Mike Testa. Hakuna Matata. It means life is meaningless. Nala. Oh, you already said that. Thank you. SB equals Smudboy. Nala Smudboy. Let me eat bugs. Nala. My dad's. Oh. Okay. I see what you're saying. All right. And you're saying I'm the voice actor, and I'm saying we're all right. Okay.
Message coming in.
Yeah.
Patching it through.
The voice of reason.
The voice of reason. Tyler Preston. Thank you, sir. This bint, Ariana, thinks she's being so original and subverting expectations with fairy, when she's not original at all.
Fairy tales.
Oh, fairy tales. Okay. Revolutionary girl Utena deconstructed fairy tales and did it much better than her. Oh boy, what a crazy anime that was. Oh my goodness. If you guys have not seen Revolutionary Girl Utena, I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's cool. It's so surrealistic. Yeah, go watch that. That is a cool show.
Also, what's annoying is that it would have been made her argument stronger if she'd actually cited On Fairy Stories by J.R.R. Tolkien, where he goes into very great detail about like what makes a fairy story. It's really fascinating to read.
Well, Tolkien, we were talking about the king of fantasy, so I mean, I know he did children's stories. He wrote books for his kids as well. I don't think I read any of his specific books for his kids or specifically for children. So I'm going to assume they're fantastic. But we were never taught Tolkien in school. I learned about them in university. I did read Tolkien on my own because everyone knew about Tolkien, The Three Rings, in grade school. And my cousins had the books. I had the books as well. So, yeah, I read my share of Tolkien. I got a little bored of it. A little too long for me. But, yeah, no, good stuff. Perfectly.
The thing is essays. His essays are fascinating where he like goes into structure, the form and stuff. It's very interesting.
Yeah, if you're an English major, Tolkien there's lots of great authors that wrote essays talking about how to compose stories, why they write the way they do, what is theming, what is structure for the stage and this and that. Oh yeah, all the really good. Even Stephen King, as much as I dislike his writing and how much he writes because he writes bricks, he has great insight into humanity and ideas.
Is a character estimation. Beauty is a standard. Someone who is beautiful is probably more approachable. Probably.
I would argue quite the opposite. People are intimidated by attractive women.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes, they're scared.
But I think she's wrong with her connotations, but I'll say she's right in that, characteristics of you, of how you appear, do very much have connotation, because we were talking about before, of like, again, hair, body type, this, that, and the other. It often says things about you, how you dress, how you groom,
yes.
If you have a very messy beard, that can be seen as unattractive by women.
Oh, yeah.
For example.
Women are very...
blotches on face or spots.
Women are very, very particular, just as much as men. They just notice different things. So how you smell, how you have facial expressions, how you laugh with their jokes, if they make any jokes. So, yeah, no, it's a very, very nuanced, this whole dating game we play with each other.
Probably more successful, probably very happy with their life. but is also a little vain, right? But would you say the same thing about a tall person or a hungry person?
What?
Well, tall
I
people have connotations to them too. It's just a everything has a connotation. What's your point?
My cousin, he's 6'6". He's huge. Same with but all three of my cousins are significantly taller than me. Like I'm only like 5'0", so I just have...
Also, I'm curious what hungry has to do with anything. Over that, I don't know. I'm hungry right now because I'm thinking of cooking up that bacon. It's a bit late now.
You
It's
haven't
almost
cooked it yet?
midnight.
What you should do is cook all your bacon first, put it in the fridge, and then heat it up later. It's probably cleaner that way. You make less mess.
Then it's cold.
Then you heat it up. Takes like 2 minutes.
But then, when you put something in the microwave, it's not quite as tasty as having it fresh.
Depends. Usually when you heat it up in the microwave, I don't know how you cook your food, but if you use the microwave for bacon, you're making a big mess and it's soggy to begin with. So once it dries off, then it's nice. So I would probably, if you don't have an oven, cook it all first. And once you put it in the microwave, all the fat and all the oil is usually gone. 20 seconds. Just be careful of explosions.
Message coming in. Patching it
Gotta
through.
use a paper towel. Anyway. Sidar cheese. You're wrong about women. All that matters is the size. The size of what, though? The size of her heart. There you go.
Yes.
It's all about perspective. There you go.
Dunn, keep your dirty mouth shut.
Why? You like my dirty mouth? Though
No, I
not
don't.
He's like it.
It's less funny than you think.
I know. I have to try. There are
See,
people out there like me.
Jen puts all his comedy into his books, so you guys have to you have to buy his book to get where Dunn is coming from. So, link in the description.
Thank you. Thank you. I'll be out next week, Monday or Tuesday, I believe.
Oh wow, fantastic! We should probably do a book review of one of your books. That'd be a good idea. That'll be fun, actually. Get the author of the book you read. That'd be great. I'll get one of my friend Jordan Oden. We're doing book reviews of Gaiman, I think, next week. We'll probably read. I'll recommend your book. We'll pick it up. Give it a go. That'll be fun. All right.
has such an ugly obsession with beauty.
Okay. That's funny the way she worded that, but there's nothing wrong with being obsessed with the aesthetic or the attractive or the beautiful. People's entire lives sometimes revolve
It's
around
natural.
it. It's very natural to like things that are pleasant and positive and look and sound and smell and taste good. So what is wrong with that?
You know, funny enough, people don't have to be attracted to a ugly 40-year-old dude who's like really stinky and smelly and sweaty and just doesn't shave, doesn't groom, greasy hair, spots all over his face, big fat guy. You don't. Funny enough, you don't have to be attracted to that.
Amazing.
And the funny thing is, if you actually bring up like a really ugly person, well, you know, you don't have to say this guy's attractive because you have to say this guy's attractive as I don't know, Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime, because obviously it's all subjective, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
We're all just obsessed with it. Oh, you would date this guy just as you date Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want to bet that she wouldn't.
Believe it or not, women do like attractive men that take care of themselves and look like bodybuilders and have gorgeous gluteus maximuses that you can leave a mark on with a brick. It's
because it's just natural. You're just attracted to attractive people. There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you're able to accept that maybe you're not going to be able to get a supermodel, you can settle for something which is, I don't know, just like fine. Sure, yeah, whatever.
just can't let it be what it actually is. Just another adjective.
No, it's not. It's a word, a very specific, unique word, different from all the other words, and they have different meanings. So please stop with this weird words are all the same bullshit. This is stupid. We have every word on this screen is different and unique.
Mm-hmm.
They exist for a reason.
Clumsy is usually not a very attractive trait because it means that you're going to have a high bill for replacing your stuff.
Okay, well, if you're tall, you're sometimes clumsy if you're a girl, and I find that adorable. So that's why he's like, hold on, dear, let me get that for you. Let me hold your hand. We'll go walking down the street together. I don't want you to, make a misstep. And they love that. So, of course, if this girl you're dating is super attractive and athletic, I mean, you wouldn't have to worry about that. She'll probably crush you if you hold her hand. But, whatever works for you guys.
Why is it that we find this so hard to internalize? Somewhere, deep down, we are not fully convinced of this, even though we know it is correct.
Because we have the dictionary.
That's probably because all of us grew up with undue importance being given to beauty.
It's like, how do you describe the animal kingdom? It's like, why are they attracted to each other? Why are we attracted to each other? How they look, how they sound, how they smell, how they act.
The reason in nature, obviously, the person who's going to be the most fittest mate is going to match up with the other person who's going to be the most, animal that's going to be the fittest mate. And it's no different other than that we're more evolved. Wouldn't that? We're not. I'll say, actually, society, while we do value beauty, I think, especially compared to animals, we're a lot more liberal.
Yeah, beauty, I would say, gets you in the door, but the personality keeps you there. Lifestyle, life choices, future goals keep you in the building or allow you to build the building. Like there's all these stages of a relationship and how you go about choosing a partner and hitting your expectations and planning ahead. But yeah, beauty is like the fairy godmother getting the ticket to go to the ball with the dress and the stagecoach. It just gets you there. Opportunity then knocks, and you're like, oh, I have to talk to people now. I have to have a personality and get to know people. Well, maybe if you're not Cinderella. If you're Cinderella, you're gorgeous and all these other things, right? So if you're the prince, though, you have to have some social decor and attract these people with you. So
I wanted to change that. But I know how difficult it is to let go of a belief system.
I want to change biology. Yeah, good luck.
So, what if I could introduce you to a new one? Give you a new adjective to hold on to. At least this is something we can all work on, right?
Reading books? We should all be reading books. What is, I mean, that's like a hobby, but what are you talking? Everyone should do fishing now. If only we all did fishing. Or hunting elk. Come to Canada, hunt some moose. That's the best hobby.
I really want to eat some moose now.
Oh boy. There's a
What does moose even taste like?
It's very similar to caribou, but it's a bit huskier. It's a bit thicker. Well, okay. Anyway, there's a place downtown I used to go to a German beer hall, essentially. They serve cider and other things, but they have 12 kinds of meat. And it's kangaroo and bear and moose and all these other exotic things. Really cool. But because of 2020, I haven't gone down there in a while. The thing is, though, the reason I go there is not for that. It's for their soft serve ice cream, which is salted caramel vanilla. Holy crap, is that not amazing? Anyway.
In my telling of Beauty and the Beast remains a beast.
Brains is the new beauty. Nah. Brains is brains. Smart girls are cool. I'm not saying it's bad. In fact, I prefer it. But when you're in Toronto and you're a smart girl, that means you either went to York or U of T, which means you've been indoctrinated to think that feminism is the be-all, end-all, sadly.
Well, the thing is, I would agree that, yeah, you put brains before, like I say brains, you put, I don't know, someone's who they are before you put their physical attributes into the equation. But they're not the same thing, and you can't say they're the same thing, really, because obviously beauty is something different to intelligence.
Well, I will say some of the first few girls I dated found intelligence to be the most attractive quality in myself or the people they were looking for to date. So
There's a difference between attraction and beauty.
Sure, I agree. Aesthetics is one thing. Attraction is a totally different thing. But it's also the priorities that we set. So women see things with beauty as a different priority than intelligence or personality or schmoozing, the ability to talk to people, more important. Whereas men are more visually oriented. It's layers of entry. Once you're saying, oh, I am attracted to this person. Now I'm in the door. What am I doing here? What is my goal in this building with this person? What am I trying to accomplish? What is the point of this relationship?
Because what matters more is the fact that he is still himself on the inside and that his love for beauty does not change either.
Sorry, too.
What is that?
I don't see the...
What is that? Like, what is the argument then? If his appreciation of beauty hasn't changed, then what do you want him to change? That he also likes smart girls? You know, you could be smart in many things. It doesn't mean you're smart in general. There's plenty of women and men I've met. They're very brilliant, very knowledgeable in one area, but completely ignorant in others. And that's normal.
I would say I'm very knowledgeable in 3D stuff. I'm not very knowledgeable in biophysics.
Yeah, I mean,
in chemistry.
Let's say you date someone and they're absolutely horrible with directions and maps and timing and scheduling and how to get to places. You would think after the first few months they'd pick up the pace and say, okay, we're going to be here at this time again, same as last week. Can you get on time this time? You gotta set some hour before you leave to plan ahead. Like, you have to do that. If they don't get the idea, then there's a problem. So it's not that they're ignorant, it's that they're incapable of learning. Not necessarily new things, but basic stuff like how to get from A to B, how to show up on time, how to talk to someone. So, but that's the point of choosing your partner and getting to know them over the months or years or decades.
It was so important for the Beast to be a role model as well. Because why shouldn't boys read fairy tales?
Okay, so you want the Beast to be a role model?
To remain the Beast.
What? Wait a second. The Beast is supposed to be angry.
Because she says in this...
He should be a role model. Okay. Problem with that is, like, that's kind of the reward, I guess, for her being faithful is a dude who is aesthetically pleasing to her.
Yeah, but the Beast, if I recall correctly, can't read. So...
depends on the story, I think.
Which version of it? Yeah, okay, maybe. And Belle's like, oh, I'll teach you. Or, oh, I have a whole library. I'll stay here and read books. And okay, I'll go protect you, or whatever the case was.
Fairies which teach them that they could be the Prince Charming who helped Cinderella achieve her career goals. Or
be the male feminist. Because that doesn't have any negative connotations at all, being a male feminist.
Well, Cinderella, I've rescued you from your life of poverty. We're now in this giant mansion. What career goals would you like?
She just said that She just said that she wanted women to be obviously independent. Why should they need a man saving them? But then she just pretty much just turned 360 degrees on that one.
Yeah, I think if you're the prince of the
all the way
land
around,
and you're going to marry that girl, she's going to be a queen and you're going to be a king. So do you want to set up I don't know, a tannery? Do you want to, I don't know, this medieval world, a tavern, a blacksmith, like a shoe shop, a cobbler? Like, what do you do?
Beast.
Wait, apparently this girl's barely 18, according to Eva Janst.
Oh, dear. She's
Really? She
seen
looks
the
more
world.
like 20.
She knows
Oh,
things,
that's
gentlemen. She's seen the world. She's written comic books. You can only dream of the places she's been.
Children's books. I think children's books, that's what it looks like.
A scientific person. The most difficult thing you can break is a pattern.
What the flying hell is this?
It's a symbol. It's symbolic for patterns, I guess.
Okay, but there's some other dude.
That's what.
There's someone on the left pushing a button repeatedly, and this dude's standing there and repeatedly getting kicked in the head. What the hell is happening? He's not pressing the button. Someone else is hurting this man.
It's a sadism.
It's symbolism.
Who's hurting this poor guy?
Maybe she'll explain in the last minute or so of this weird talk.
What's going on? Why isn't he pushing the button and stopping that other guy? Maybe there's another, I don't know, boot hitting the other person. I don't know.
Or maybe he's pressing the button and getting hit by the boot. Maybe that's the twist.
Wait a sec, but why isn't
that he's in pain?
Why isn't his hand on the button then? I'm not grasping. Oh, this is just a bad animation. Okay, I see what they're saying. Okay, so the person's pushing the button's causing the boot to hit him in the head, and he just keeps pushing the button because they could have drawn that in one frame, not 2 frames, and confuse the hell out of me.
Each and every association you have with gender today is just that, a pattern. The easiest way to break it is to form a new one, because everything after that is just a domino effect.
But what's to say that the new pattern's going to be any better than the old pattern? You're just replacing one pattern with another.
Maybe there's a reason why the original pattern exists. Do you ever investigated and figure out why we have stories that span thousands of years? Why women are weaker than men? Why men feel it's the need to protect and save women from danger? Maybe?
Message coming in. Patching it through.
Here's Setter Cheese again. Smut, I drew your ideal woman and put it in Discord. Oh, thank you. That makes me feel good.
Which channel?
I have a Discord dedicated.
Do you have an art channel?
I think so.
Nope.
Yeah, I should. I should have a meme.
Is it memes?
Yeah. I should have a meme section.
Oh. Oh, that's the thing. Okay, I'll put it in the Discord.
All right. Is it a giant piece of steak? Well, that's actually pretty attractive. Holy shit.
Oh man, that's.
Who would not want that? I mean, that's just delicious.
I would agree. Yeah, that's a very attractive lady.
I'm gonna put that on screen just to show off the artwork. As soon as I press some buttons. There it is. Fantastic. I think she's a blonde, and she's got this whole giant fork thing going, so it's not just a normal eating fork. That's like a miniature pitchfork thing going.
How fucking long are her legs?
Oh, they're long enough, baby. Look at those things. You can wrap
some long, sexy legs.
You can wrap around a giant fat man with those legs.
Would you want to?
Well, I mean, if she's hungry, obviously she wants to date bigger men, so that's just how that goes. Anyway, let's get back to the video, which is almost done.
So if today,
What does any of this has to do with feminism?
It's just a whole lot of gender binary stuff.
What?
Oh, just fairy tales and how they're not feminist enough.
They're not
Yes.
feminism enough. And of course, you're using the baby blue and the pink to represent boys and girls. Oh, what's with the butterflies, though? What is that imagery all about?
I thought it was more decorative than actual to do with her talk.
There could be
It's probably just something to keep up for everyone's talk.
could be some symbolism there. I don't even
Like
know.
you could also ask why there's like a turf wall.
Oh no.
You know, funny enough, at my university, they actually have a big wall garden. So it's like a garden on the wall of a building.
Yeah, I've seen those.
It's completely vertical.
Are the birds supposed to be all over the place? Because that just looks weirdly aesthetically ugly.
Yeah, I think they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
It is a weird choice, to say the least.
policy
I mean, like, for
makers
this
inculcate feminism in children, then tomorrow, when these children become parents, they will not worry about their toddler's suit being pink or blue.
Why would they worry about that? They're the ones choosing the suit for their children. The children can't go to a downtown haberdasher and say, "Hey, sir, I'm 4. I need me a suit." They're like, little guy, I like to.
Do parents really worry? Like, I'm pretty sure, like, you just add more worry to the parents now. It's like, oh, do I get it blue? But then if I get it blue, then it's too much male. Oh, but if I get female, then it's too feminine. Oh, what do I do? Oh, what do I do? Whereas now it's just, okay, well, I just get them blue because they're a boy. Okay, here we go. Got blue suit, go.
Oh, dear.
Because now, I suppose it's more simpler if you just say blue for boys, pink for girls, than it would be if you just throw the two out the window, because then it's not getting whatever you're forcibly putting on them. They're like, oh no, I can't, I don't want to be offensive, I can't give them this color and I can't give them that color. What am I going to do?
What a strange way to end your talk. Parents won't have to worry about the color of the suits for their children.
What a non-problem to have. I mean, sure, you could talk about all the shit that's happening in Pakistan and India, but it's like then you just talk about kids, parents buying their kid a baby suit, and it's like,
yeah,
I don't.
I seem to remember having a multitude of T-shirts of various colors. I remember my dad had a pink T-shirt, probably because of the wash. My mom screwed up the whites and the colors, but you still wear it. It's not a big deal.
See, that's a metaphor for real, race relations. You should keep your collards away from your whites. Oh god, that's an edgy joke. That's
Don't
get
screw up the fabric softener. You're black. Oh, jeez. Pinky. Yeah.
The story. There's always this story of how my dad got mistaken for a gay man by just wearing a specific shirt.
Oh, interesting.
Admittedly, somehow the guy managed to get him a super nice penthouse that him and my mom spent the night in.
My favorite shirt from my dad. My dad really liked it. It was "I'm the Boss." It was a big bright yellow shirt, and it looked like a lightning bolt. Like, "I'm the boss," and it was fun and cute. Like, he never was like, "I'm the head of the house." No, he's not the head of the house. He just, "I'm the boss." That was it. Cool enough T-shirt. And then I think my mom shrunk it in the wash. But other than that, it's.
So with
a lot
my
of people
book,
use is the dad may be the head of the house,
ridiculous.
but the mom is the neck that turns it.
The neck that snaps it. Yeah.
I am looking at creating some new patterns today.
Good luck, lady. I mean, I wish you well. I hope it turns out, but I don't know who's buying these books of yours.
Snow, not so white.
The Little Mermaid does not give up her tail. Cinderella.
Snow not so white.
Cinderella refuses to fail at what? What did she fail at?
Oh god, my internet just seemed to have bugged up there.
think
But
it's
all
so-
I read was
I think
Snow not so
The
white.
titles of her, these are her titles. The titles of her little short story stuff.
Snow White is all except white? What the hell does that mean? That's not the problem with Snow
No
White.
idea.
That's not her plight.
That's the problem with Snow White. She's white.
Snow White is racist.
Racist.
Oh man, Fairy Joker. If you're like a guy who likes tall girls, just the girl for you. Against Jack. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Oh, that's from Monster Musume. That's the joke. That's the joke with the. Apparently, the main hero of Monster Musume does in fact like girls with long legs, and all the girls want to know what he likes because they all want to appeal to him. And he's trying to be nice to this new because it's a harem anime. Okay, so a harem anime is all these girls like this one guy, and he's trying to be as Japanese as possible. He's like very copacetic, very friendly with everyone, not favoring one girl over the other. And Arachne obviously has a bunch of legs. She's a spider, and she looks at him, and she's like, "Why are you avoiding all my advances in this?" It's like, "Well, what do you like about me?" It's like, "Well, I'm a leg man." And he has the goofiest smile on his face, like, yeah. And she looks at him like, seriously? So it's just a funny, like that's a silly manga anime. And I'm surprised they haven't made a whole bunch more. They did do a second one, which I am sort of watching. I don't know if they came out with it, but it's a medieval story, a fantasy medieval story of a doctor, a monster doctor. He's a human male. And he's looking after the town, and they're all monsters. So, anyway. Yeah. Anyway, brains is the new beauty. Brains is attractive, but it's not aesthetics. Sorry. Sleeping Beauty knows how to fight. That would be cool. I think they did that with live action, The Huntsman. That was an example there. That was a weird... See, that was an example of a movie that could have been better.
Snow White.
Was it Snow White and the Huntsman? With Thor? What's his name?
Yeah, it was Snow White, Snow White and the Huntsman.
Yeah, like
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth.
See that could have been a much better story. It was just not very... Compare that to Stardust. Stardust was a fantastic story from a comic.
Oh,
Yeah. Beautiful imagery, beautiful
love
fantasy,
Stardust.
magical experience, well-told story. See, if it was closer to the Stardust, I think it would have worked a lot better. Anyway, teaching little ones feminism is our duty. Where does that come from? That just fit. That does not even sound like it belongs in this screen. It just, there's nothing wrong with having. Well, I think Snow White being everything except white is kind of stupid. Sleeping Beauty knows how to fight would be cool. I just like you change. It's no longer the same story though. So this is like a continuation story or retelling story. Which again, you can do. You can take these classic stories and use them for your own profit. Turn them around, make them sound cool. Whatever works in your creative vision, go for it. I just don't think feminism is going to really sell to the 6-year-old when you're trying to teach them how to be nice to people.
The Little Mermaid, who doesn't give up her tail. Cinderella, the lady boss. A very woke Sleeping Beauty. And a beast who was loved for the man that he was.
You know, I'm already just
Isn't that
thinking
kind
of
of what he
Baby
is?
Boss.
Isn't that kind
Yeah.
of what he is?
He's just,
That's kind of what the Beast is.
he's a courageous, illiterate, angry person. That's all he really is. I mean, he got cursed by a a witch for being, or not a witch, but a magical creature for being too vain. So he had to learn kindness. And if he didn't find true love or whatever before the time ran out, he would be cursed as a beast forever. Or would he die? Was it with death, or was he cursed as a beast forever? I can't remember which one it was.
I think it's die in the original fairy tale. It's remain a beast forever in the Disney version.
Okay. Yeah, real consequences in those curses back in the day for our Disney characters. Huh. All right, we're pretty much done. Let's just finish it off.
My idea of a happily ever after.
Okay, well, I mean, you try that, lady. I'm sure you'll find the most wonderful man who puts up with all your political nonsense. And he goes, yes, dear, yes, I love you. You're beautiful, but only in that brainy kind of way. You go, yes, it's not your long hair and beautiful body. No, it's just that brain, those hemispheres in your skull, not your chest. They're so gorgeous. They're just, those frontal lobes. Oh, fantastic. Anyway, one of the giant mountain of suggestions we have from you, gentlemen and ladies. Thank you. Always pleasant. Shiny, thanks for tuning in. Dunn, loved your commentary. Thanks for being here. Check out Dunn's book coming out next week. If not, his other books on Amazon in the link below.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wish I could show off my book. I only have one. It's kind of old, but yeah, we gotta keep chugging along. Yay, capitalism! Thanks, whatever is it, like 1,000 views I might get on this video from AdSense?
Mm-hmm.
Like $5, or I don't even know, probably $1 nowadays. I don't even check money from AdSense anymore. It's all pretty much super chats from you guys, which I always appreciate. So
and
yes,
they
sir.
are super.
They are super chats. They're fantastic. So good evening. Thank you for all your suggestions. Keep them coming in the suggestions channel of the Discord. We'll talk to you guys real soon. Have yourself a great night. And, there's another super chat. Oh dear. She uses a lot of European fairy tales. Would she dare tweak some Indian folk tales? Ooh, Scheherazade sounds cool. What else is there? Geez, I am not...
The Arabian Nights. There's the Pacific Island culture, like Maui. There's the Hindu culture, like the stories of Kali, Rama, that sort of thing.
That would be huge. All the pantheon, that's gigantic. There's so many gods in Indian culture.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. The Bhagavad Gita, I always bring
Message
up
coming in.
just because it's related to Star Wars.
Patching it through.
Geez. Yeah, no, there's lots to pull from. Why she didn't do that, I don't know. If she wants to influence the Indians or Indian culture, why not use Indian stories? Yeah. That would make a lot more sense. Anyway. Good night, everyone. We'll talk to you real soon.